All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're out in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace up the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
Welcome to the All Sports All Place Network, the All Sports All Place College Football Breakdown Show. I am Crews. Dre Montez will be with me momentarily, but we are getting ready to start down the best college pregame show on the World Wide Web, competing with College Game Day on ESPN. Hopefully, we get some people to join us here live on the All Sports All Place Network. Get this community going again. Get it all back up and running. We are trying to get more shows back up and running on the All Sports All Place Network. We have Red Kingdom coming up behind us later on this afternoon, talking about the Kansas City Chiefs, talking about their football season, getting their games ready for Sunday, when they play. To listen to the boys, Greg and them do a good job on Red Kingdom. Later on today, I have Jags Nation will be back this week. We had some technical issues last week trying to get it back on, but we'll be back on Saturday today at 9:30 to about 11 o'clock. And then we'll break down the show on Sunday around it'll be Tuesday of next week, I'd say about maybe like 7 or 8 Eastern Standard Time on Tuesday to break down the Monday Night Football game. Jaguars will play the Buffalo Bills. So Jag Nation will try to break down the game after the game, give you some reactions there the day after the football game. Usually we try to do it on Sundays, but since the game is on Monday, we'll do it on Tuesday, a special edition of Jag Nation at 7 p.m. on Tuesday. So we'll get that started back up and running there. Get Jag Nation back up and running. And then later on this week, I will be having the Heels Nation will be debuting. I'm trying to figure out a date for that. So Heels Nation will be debuting, all about the Tar Heels sports. And further ado, my guest host. Well, he's not a guest host. He's my host. He's my other Navy buddy. He is the best man of all time in college football. You might see him on the Who's to Blame podcast. He's got his Gators hat on. He's got his hairs all fixed up. He looks like $1 million man. He's probably been up all night. I don't know. He's probably been partying. I don't know if he's been partying with the Mizzou fans, but they're undefeated right now. Let's bring him on in here, Mr. Dre Montez. How you doing, buddy?
What's going on, big man? How we doing?
Not much. How you doing, man?
All better than good. It's college football Saturday.
Yeah. See, that introduction getting longer and longer as we go on, you know.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So, I mean, how's the land of the Gator Nation down in Tallahassee? I know you don't live in Tallahassee, but Gainesville, but I know you live in Missouri. I know you keep up with that pulse. So what is the deal on today when they go visit? We're going to talk about that later on, but what is the Gators Nation feels like about the head coaching right now?
You know, it's easier said than done. It's easy to fire somebody. You fire somebody at this point of the season, you definitely got to stick with somebody in-house, somebody that's already on the coaching staff. Bringing somebody in new at this point is just doesn't make any sense at all. But I don't think this is a fixable solution just by a coach. It looked like there's something a little bit more seriously going on because there's no life in that team. There's no life. There's nothing. I'm not putting stock in a 160-pound freshman to do some amazing things just at the quarterback position. This must be a team. This got to be a team thing. Both sides of the ball, mean offense and defense, special teams included, and get coaches more involved because there's just no life left in this team. Again, it's easy to fire the coach. It's easy to fire a coach, but who's coming in to take the job? Who's out there that can come in and actually take this job?
That's a good question. I don't know. Right now, that's something that Gator Nation is gonna have to figure out probably by the end of the season or maybe halfway through the season. We know they got game day in Starksville against Mississippi State, so that's not gonna be an easy contest for the Gators this
No, not at
afternoon
all.
at 12 o'clock. So, but we are here to get you ready for the games at 12 all the way down. We got some breakdown. We got different times. We got 4 games in the 12 o'clock hour that we're going to break down. We got some games in 7:30 hours, 7 o'clock hour. We got a mixture of games, 16 games to break down here today. A total of 59 games total of today. We already had 5 games played. It's already for week 4, starting at Thursday. South Alabama creamed Appalachian State. 40, I think it was 48-14 or something like that. And then Stanford beat Syracuse by 2. Illinois beat number 23 Nebraska. San Jose State and Washington State played a great game.
That was
Washington State
a hell
ended
of
up
a
winning
game.
that game.
That game was over at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Did you stay up and watch it?
Man, I swear I'm tired. Hey, that make no sense, man. Them West Coast games, man, they just was like when the Cardinals go on the West Coast and they have the audacity to play an extra inning game. That's past midnight.
Yeah.
They got to do something about that. That's just way too late. That game was over at 3 o'clock in the morning, man. A little after 3 o'clock this morning.
And if you want to support us in the All Sports All Plays Network, you can send us some stars that will go to us to get some contents, get some more things going on. Shows like this and keep the network going. So any appreciation of any donations will be graded. You can send us some stars here on Facebook only. So we get that out of the way there. We'd like to welcome our fans here to the All Sports All Plays College Breakdown Show. I'm Ray, that's Dre. I'm a Tar Heel fan. He's a Gator fan, but we cover everybody here on the show. We're one of the greatest pregame shows on college football here. We're not up to game day yet, but we're working there. We're working on magic, trying to get up there. We might end up going to some Division II schools and bringing a live show there, but we're still trying to work that process out. Eventually, me and Dre will be together one day, maybe here at the cocktail party, in Jacksonville. That's coming up soon too in October. Halloween's coming up, so we got all kinds of stuff going on here on the All Sports All Plays Network. All righty, my friends, let's bring up that's the scores from that's the rankings here. What is surprising? Are you surprised that Texas leapfrogged Georgia last week in the #1 ranking of this week's poll?
I'm not surprised at all. Texas has been playing great football, complete football. Georgia, on the other hand, that defense, they had a little hesitation with the offense in that Kentucky game. I'm sorry, that Kentucky game. That was just but that's Georgia football. They always have a game like that will look like something wrong with the card, don't want to start the right way, but that's Georgia football. They won the game, just not the way people thought UGA would win that game. But Texas is playing some hellfire football right now. They're a very exciting football team to watch.
Excuse me. I had to sneeze there. I had to hit the mute button so I don't want to get it on the air. But anyway, that surprised me. You surprised Tennessee leapfrog Missouri in the polls?
No, Mizzou had a little hiccup too as well with that defense is kind of suspect. If the quarterback Cook can always hit that open window instead of waiting to the last second, maybe that'd cut down a little bit of the INTs for him and get a couple more touchdowns for him. But it was just the defense, a little slight hesitation. But again, Mizzou is suspect of that as well. When the defense have one of those games where they should dominate the game, but it seems as though they want the other team to hang around. That's the only problem that Mizzou and UGA messed up that last week. To me, that's normally what they do once a year, what they did last week. And now they can get things rolling again as Mizzou takes on Vandy today, and I think UGA has a bite of that.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one too. and then Miami moved all the way up into number 8 now. Are you surprised about the Hurricanes offense and with the new addition of the quarterback with Miami and Wade? Sensaball's got that team running right now, but they got a tough matchup coming later where we'll be breaking that game down, Miami versus South Florida in Tampa at Raymond James Stadium. So are you surprised what the Hurricanes are doing right now?
I'm surprised that quarterback came in and has played as calm, cool, and collected as he has been a transfer. I mean, playing the way he played that game with such poise and ease when they played Florida, I knew something was up. I mean, just to come into a new school with the football program, he had the same amount of time as anybody else did, either on a team or a transfer, had the same amount of time. And for him to have that type of chemistry with that team already speaks volumes for the coaching staff. Talking about having prepared for a game, plus his own football IQ. I'm very shocked at what the Canes are doing. Very shocked.
Yeah, me too. I think I didn't see that coming. The way the Hurricanes finished up playing last year and this year, but with the new quarterback, probably fit the system better than when Van Dyke did there. Right. So I think it's got a little bit moving going on. I think they got a good game playing going on with the defense and the offense. But we'll get that tested here today when they go against South Florida, that pesky South Florida team. Bulls at Raymond James Stadium, which they did give Alabama some tough times when Alabama visited Raymond James Stadium. So let's see how that goes when Miami visiting here. Miami can go boost up that record here in the state of Florida to undefeated, another Florida school coming into play. So we got that coming up. Are you still highly on Penn State? Penn State is right in the top 10 right now. Are you still a verdict out on them, or you think they're going to filter down as the season goes?
I don't know I haven't seen Penn State play this year, so it'd be unfair for me to say anything about negative or positive about Penn State. I haven't seen them play, but I know Penn State either comes out of the gate slow or they lose that pivotal game next month, then all hopes is gone for Penn State, the Nittany Lions. But for what I'm seeing in the highlights and what I'm hearing about the players they have in that program, that Mr. Franklin has a special team this year in Penn State.
Yeah, I've seen Penn State play here a couple times, and to me, I think they're a little bit shaky on offense. The defense is looking a little bit strong, but I think they're shaky right now. But when they get up against their top tier teams in the Big Ten, like the Oregon Ducks, if they get them, or Ohio State or Michigan, those are the games that are going to tell what Penn State can do this year. But I'm still out on the verdict right now. I don't think they're right there at the top 10 cuts. I think they're maybe a top 15 team right now. But right now they're ranked number 10 in the nation. They dropped a couple of spots since Miami leapfrogged them over,
right?
And right behind the Ducks. So, that's perspective. How about Oregon? Have they surprised you any this year with their style of play, how they're going in without Bo Nix and Gabriel coming over from Oklahoma to be that quarterback? They had some hiccup kind of games, and the Oregon State game they played, a little bit behind, but then they took over the game at the end. So that's another little thing that Oregon stuff. You think the Ducks are going to compete in that Big Ten this year?
Yeah, I think Phil Knight has pretty much made his message loud and clear. I won a national championship before I'm up out of here. He's all on board to do whatever he can to get them the players they need to fulfill his goal and his wish. I didn't think Oregon would turn it around so fast, considering what happened last year and the players that they lost, not just Bo Nix. They lost some guys up front in that offensive line as well. There were big names in that clubhouse locker room to get the guys going. But yes, I am shocked at how they really turn around against Oregon State. But I want to see how far this thing can go. I want to see how far Oregon can go.
Yeah, so that's another little thing too about the top 10 teams right now. We're getting ready to break down here. We're going to take a commercial break real quick. When we come back, we'll be breaking down Marshall at number 3, Ohio State, followed by North Carolina at number 21, Clemson, Florida at Mississippi State, and then we'll break it down to James Madison. North Carolina will be our first 4 teams here today at the 12 o'clock hour. We'll be breaking them down here on the All Sports All Place Network College Breakdown Show. I am Ray. That is Dre. We'll be right back on the All Sports All Place Network after these messages.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we're making up plays. We're talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the air, we're taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. 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 365, we're making up plays. We're talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the air, we're taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. 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 365, we're making up plays. We're talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the air, we're taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. 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 365, we're making up plays. We're talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the air, we're taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. 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 365, we're making up plays. We're talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the air, we're taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
You will be.
Welcome back to the All Sports All Place Network, the All Sports All Place College Breakdown. I'm Ray, bringing Dre right back in here. All right, Dre, we're getting ready to get started off here, man. We got a lot of games. We got 59 games to pick. Do I pick them? But first, before we get all the breakdowns, I know you want to see what happened last week and what your score was against mine. We know this is a big battle here between me and you. We right now, according to the records, I've won every one so far, but you're trying to close in on the gap a little bit here. Right now, I'm 48-15 this week, last week, and 45-18. So I got a 3-game advantage on you from that pickup here. Did you pick up any games on me in the total wins here? The total wins is 247-71 for me, 234-84 for you. So right now, you're 13 games behind, but you did have a good week starting off week 4. Once again, my Thursdays and Friday nights games, I'm not even over 500 in those games. You're over 500 in those games. You're 2-1 so far starting week 4 after the Thursday and Friday night games. So right now you got a 1-game pickup on that 14 game spread. So let's get this week started here and see if you can make some moves, headways here. This is the week that you normally catch back up with me. And, I have a double-digit lead right now, but usually about this week and next week, you usually close in that gap. Let's see if you can do that this week. So good luck to you, man. Let's go ahead and let's start with our first game here. Let me take that banner off real quick here. Take that off of us there so we can move around a little bit here more better, keep it more flow going here. Our first game is Marshall at number 3, Ohio State at noon on Fox from Ohio State Stadium in Columbus, Ohio. Does Marshall even have a shot to be playing against? They're 1-1 against a 2-0 Ohio State today. The odds in this game is OSU is favored by 40. Total is 52.5. Is the over and under in this one. So, do you think Marshall has a shot to keep this game close and have a shot to win this game at the end?
I mean, everybody has a chance, Coach. Everybody has a chance, but you're talking about a team that has invested $20 million in that program. So it must be a beat down and a bludgeon every time somebody gets on the field against the Ohio State University. But every time that Ohio State is ranked highly, I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see what everybody else sees when they talking about the Ohio State University. I'm talking a year they won a national championship. I'm talking when Urban Meyer was there. I don't see what everybody else sees. They only play, to me, really hard twice a year. Twice a year they play really hard. The rest of the time they let other people make mistakes and they capitalize off of them. They never just really go out and just take over a game offensively and defensively. I've never seen the Ohio State do that. Never. They just go out and let the opponent be afraid of the history of the Ohio State University. And they only play 2 games a year. That's it. That's what it seemed like to me. If I'm wrong, please enlighten me, Buckeye Nation. Enlighten me. Prove to me that you play each and every week at a high level. They don't.
Yeah, I agree with you on that too. The matchup predictors got 96.9%. There's 3.1% think Marshall has a shot in this ball game today on this thing. But if you look at what Marshall does at quarterback, he's 23 out of 52, 228 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception in 2 games they have played. They're 1-1. They do have a running back who's had 14 carries, 222 yards, and 1 touchdown. A.J. Turner is the leader in rushing for the herd. The leading wide receivers, Fitzpatrick, who is 8 receptions, 170 yards, and 2 touchdowns. But look on the other hand, Howard for Ohio State is 35 out of 54, 520 yards, and 4 touchdowns in 3 games. Junkins, who is the transfer out of, I think, Ole Miss, he had 22 carries, 163 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And then Jay Smith, who is leading wide receiver at 11 receptions, 211 yards, and 3 touchdowns. If you look at this, they have advantage over the Herds in all 3 categories on the offensive side. The defense has been great for Ohio State. Do you see any kind of way that Ohio State defense will break down against the Herd, or will they overthink the Herd? Because sometimes you overlook Marshall. Marshall will come back and haunt you, just like App State did, against Michigan. Could this be another big one? Because this could be a bigger upset than that App State and Michigan game back in the early 90s there. So can we see this happening today?
Well, Marshall coach trying his best to offer some biscuits and gravy to people to come to Marshall, looking for that speed that they have at the Ohio State University. You pointed out something that I heard, that the quarterback for the Ohio State has only thrown the ball 54 times in 3 games.
Yes, he's only thrown. Wow. He's 32 out of 54.
Wow, in 3 games.
3 games.
So they running the ball. They're doing nothing but running the ball. Message. This could be an upset Saturday. I could see it happening this time of year. I really can. That would just really give it a little bit more juice, knowing about the playoff system, how it's expanded. And now I really do have a strong feeling that we will have a 3-loss team in that playoff picture. But if there is an upset today, it could potentially be Marshall doing it to the Ohio State University. You said they have a 3% chance of winning. That's all I need, Coach. You're saying we got a chance.
They got 3 points.
That 3% hit the right people.
You got 3.1%, and Ohio State, the last two games they've played so far is against nobody. They beat Akron 52-6. They beat Western Michigan University 56-0. So, and then Stony Brook.
Haven't played anybody.
Marshall beat Stony Brook 45-3, and they lost to Virginia Tech 31-14. So,
oh man, Sandman, sing it.
Yeah. So that's what you look at this game here. So on all that note right there, are you pulling the upset, Marshall taking Ohio State, or are you going with Ohio State?
I mean, I like the movie with McAfee and Matthew McConaughey. We Are Marshall. I like the movie, but I don't think that We Are Marshall and the Thunder and the Herd can upset the Ohio State. What else? Is this game at the Horseshoe?
Yep. Is that Ohio State and Columbus?
No, man, they don't have a shot. Give me Ohio State.
All righty. You heard it out here. They do not have a shot according to both of us. We both picked Ohio State in this game here. I don't think the Herd can go in there and really defeat them. So that's going to be a little bit of a.
It's going to be a little tricky situation, as the kids say.
Yeah.
A little tricky right there. A little tricky.
All righty. The big one in the ACC today is North Carolina State at Clemson at high noon on ABC/ESPN Plus. If you don't have the local channel of ABC, you can go to ESPN Plus. If you have that, this game is at Memorial Stadium in Clemson, South Carolina. NC State said without their starting quarterback McCall, Bailey came in from McCall, who got injured last week. Is this a place that you want a freshman quarterback to start their season, first game starting against Clemson in Death Valley?
Woo, you said it right there, Death Valley. That's what happens at. The intimidation factor right there. I hope that kid got a thick stomach and thick skin. This is the type of game that Dabo Swinney needs. He needs this type of victory. He needs this game at this moment. He needs to get that trust back with the team in him and his message moving forward. Because there's a little rift going on in the verbiage of the program, what he's trying to put out there to the media and to the team, because Dabo talks in code. He's talking to the media one way, but he's also talking to the team as well. So you got to watch out for that. But this is the type of game that I think Dabo needs to get Clemson back in the eyes of the media, being a focal point up front in the ACC.
Yeah, if you look at this, Clemson is favored by 19.5 points. The over and under is 44.5 in this ball game. I think this could be a little bit more of a high-scoring game, but you also got to watch out for North Carolina State. They got one of the best wide receivers in college football in Concepcion, who is fast, who gets the ball in many directions. He even lined up in running back. One time he lined up in the slot. He will line up on the outside. So they move him around a lot. Only thing he has not lined up as a tight end. That's the only thing he has not lined, or a quarterback in the offense. The two positions they have not lined them up is the tight end or quarterback in this thing. We might see him lined up at quarterback, when they do the Wildcat. We don't know. But how does Clemson try to take Concepcion away? Now they ain't got to concentrate on McCall at the quarterback position.
I put the pressure on the quarterback and the receiver. And I still think in my mind that Concepcion is related to former Major League Baseball player David Concepcion that played third for the Cincinnati Reds. I wonder if they related down the line somewhere. But I would attack the freshman quarterback. If I can rattle a quarterback, that's like 10 points you give in my team. If I can rattle the quarterback, I'm getting some field position, so that's a field goal. I'm getting a pick six. That's a touchdown. So that's 10 points right there. If they can do that, that's an easy afternoon for Clemson's offense. It makes the game plan that much better when the game falls into the lap of the defense. If the defense can put some pressure on the quarterback to make those ill-advised throws. But one thing you don't want to happen, you don't want a freshman to get no happy feet and you find out that the kid can run. You don't want to find out he's Johnny Manziel out there, the way he ran through Alabama when he beat Roll Tide. But put pressure on the quarterback. Let him make the decision. Let him make the decision, the bad decision.
Yeah, we look at that too, but Bailey does have some wheels on him. He can run the option type style if they need to go into an option type style offense there. They could give him another threat with the wheels and stuff. So you got to be honest. When your ends got to rush up the field, don't over pursue to force them back down. You got to have your defensive lineman ready in case he does come out of the pocket and you force him down to tackle him right off the spot. But let's turn it around a little bit here. We know NC State's defense is kind of strong, but they're not with their leader no more in Peyton Willis. He's not coming back anymore. He's in the NFL. The heart and soul of the defense. Can Klubnik and the Clemson offense pick apart North Carolina State defense? The defense is going to keep them in this ballgame. I guarantee you that Dorian is going to have them in there. But will we see the Klubnik that we have seen the last week and a half, or we're going to see the Klubnik that was against Georgia?
See, I don't want Clemson gets a little bit too excited sometimes, and they do things they shouldn't be doing. The ill-advised penalties, the ill-advised throws, and you know that's not the play that we just talked about. That's not what the offensive coordinator just told you to call based off the offensive read that he just told you about. When they get outside of the box of playing Clemson football, that's when mistakes happen. But if they keep it within Clemson football and try to remind us the days of yesteryear, okay, yeah, that's Clemson dominating football. But it's when they get out of character. Yes, your character, Joe. When they get outside of that, that's when it becomes an interesting game for NC State Wolfpack. Oof.
Yeah, that too. But now let's change a little bit here. You got Waters, who transferred out of Duke, come to NC State. He's 37 carries for 156 yards and 2 touchdowns leading North Carolina State. Last year, the leading rusher was Brandon Armstrong, the quarterback. Now they got a running back who is now the leader of that pack, who has some experience against Clemson, who was on that Duke team that beat Clemson last year at the running back position. And then you got Maffa, who is the leading rusher for Clemson at 26 carries, 177 yards, and 1 touchdown. Who has the edge on the rushing game right now? Will it be North Carolina State or will it be Clemson in this ball game?
It sounds like what you just told me. It looks like NC State is coming in with a little bit more experience at the running back position, especially coming out of Duke and as part of that team that beat Clemson. So he has a little insight. You know, he knows how to run against it. Not saying he can give them any information on how to beat them up front, but he can get the read in because he's had experience facing them before. So I like those numbers right there with NC State because that gives you a little bit of confidence somewhere instead of just going in the game and you're looking at the breakdown and you see you're losing the major categories of the breakdown that the team is giving you. But having that little edge in the rushing category, that speaks a good deal for the NC State program.
Yeah, if you look at this too, it's some interesting tidbits in these ball games here. Clemson leads the series 60 wins and 30 losses and 1 tie against NC State. But NC State has been playing them close the last 4 or 5 years. Clemson, they favored them by 20.5 points. But this is also a Clemson which could move up a spot in the rankings during a bye week. Can also make a statement and can contend for the Atlantic Coast Conference crown and college football playoff spot with the league win against the Wolfpack. But if you look at North Carolina State and telling here, the loss is first measuring stick game badly against Tennessee. Now he gets another thought through. This time it will be playing a role of whether the Wolfpack can compete for the ACC title. That's something that North Carolina State wants to compete with. The next step up is the ACC title. Then they can build that program up to the playoffs. But this game is going to be a tell who's going to win, who's going to take the charge of the ACC right now. Will it be Clemson or North Carolina State after this game? Like I said, it's going to be Chad Klubnik against North Carolina State defense. Klubnik struggled in the season opener, 34-3 loss to Georgia. Then had games of his life, 60 in a 66-20 win over Appalachian State. He countered with 7 touchdowns, 5 passing, and 2 rushing, and threw for a career high of 378 yards. Can Klubnik have another stellar performance? But this time he stepped up on another defensive level in North Carolina State, not Appalachian State. So you can't compare the quarterback position for that game because Appalachian State defense is not really a good tell. What they lost to South Alabama on Thursday night. So Can Klubnik battle his demons right now against the top Power 5 conference that he has not won very well so far in his career?
Here's why I'm at in that situation in question, by the way, Ray. I'm always talking about when you lose, who you beat, and strength of schedule. I think the best thing that happened to Clemson so far was the way they lost to UGA. You can use that whole game as a motivational piece for position players, for the defense, for the offense, for your coaching staff. You can use that whole game each and every week to better your team. And I think in a funny kind of way, I think that's what Clemson is doing. They've grown since that game. They know what they did not do, did not try, forgot about, and went to instead. They broke all that down just from that UGA loss. And I think they're using that, at least for the last 2 games that they've played. To me, it seems though they've been using that game film to get that extra push in the old tush, as we call it, old tush push. But that's how I'm seeing Clemson right now. That could have been the best thing that ever happened to that program. The best thing.
Yeah, that too. And then the interesting thing about North Carolina State, C.J. Bailey, who's starting today, he is a January enrollee. So he said he'd make his first career start at Death Valley after the injury starter Grayson McCall in last week's win against Louisiana Tech. Bailey threw for 156 yards and an interception while also running for a score. But if you look at this too, Clemson's linebacker, Barrett Carter, who wears 0 on his uniform, is named as Agent 0 for Clemson. He is a preseason All-American who has yet fully inserted himself this season. He's only played 88 snaps with just 4 tackles and 1 pass breakup and a quarterback pressure. Is this the breakout game for the linebacker Barrett Carter today against NC State?
I would unleash the beast if I was Clemson. Unleash him. Let him go against a freshman. Let him go. Let him eat. Feed him. Feed him. Just straight blood meat. Feed him. Let him eat today.
Yeah, so I mean, that's going to be a little bit too. Now you got Carter chipping at the bit because what happened at NC State last 2 years, NC State comes in with a 2-game winning streak against Clemson. Can Clemson break that today? That's going to be a little bit of a toss-up here, which only given a matchup predicts only given Clemson 88% and only 12% to NC State winning this ball game. So you get that little bit of up number there. Clemson's been favored the last 2 times against NC State. The last 2 times they have lost. So can the Wolfpack pull up another upset here at Memorial Stadium in front of the Clemson's home crowd in Death Valley today? Who you got in this ball game?
It would be great to have this slated as upset Saturday so early in the year. It would be phenomenal if that could happen. But I don't think NC State has the arsenal to shut down Clemson. It could be a close game in the first half, but I think eventually Clemson pulls away from this game. I got Clemson winning this game. Not convincingly, but I got Clemson winning this game.
I got Clemson winning this game even closer on a last-second field goal.
Okay.
That's how I got this game wrapping up because it's been down to a last-second field goal or last-second touchdown. The last few times, can NC State try to bury him early? They're going to have to jump out quick and take out the crowd of Death Valley. If they cannot take that crowd out in Death Valley, that noise is going to get to them. And then rookie quarterback.
That'd be impossible to take the noise out of Death Valley. That must be a beatdown, like 37-0, second quarter NC State type. Take the crowd out of the game. It has to be that bad before halftime.
Yeah, that's another thing too.
Got to rub that rock.
And yeah, that's another thing too. You talk about the tradition, the bus ride around the stadium, coming down the hill, touching the rock, the spectacle. That intimidation factor is like the Undertaker's entrance in WWE. When the songs hit, the noise, his slowly walking down to the ring, your slowly death march. How can the freshman quarterback stand that? Does the NC State don't show them that spectacle? Tell them to turn around when they come down the hill. Don't get that intimidation. This is a unique start for North Carolina State with the freshman quarterback because they thought McCall was going to be in the spot, who can give him a better chance to win because he can throw the ball a little bit better and spin it to Conceição. We really don't know the factor of Bailey. We only seen the sample size of last game. So that's going to be another thing for Clemson. How does Clemson scout from that last game to check out Bailey? Did they tip it in their hands in that game to show what Bailey can do? Or this is going to be a totally different game plan that Dorian brings in with the offensive coordinator?
I mean, it's already a different game plan with your freshman quarterback. And the only way I think a freshman quarterback can go into a hostile stadium environment such as Death Valley, I want to know what type of high school he came out of from. Was it 5A, 6A? Was he playing in front of 12 to 15,000 people every week at his high school or more than that? Did he go to a tough school? Did he just go to a country prep day? Did he come out of a hostile environment in high school? If he did, even kill. Stone cold. But if he came out of one of those environments where only like 1,200 people saw him play each and every week, no, they're going to get to him real fast, real quick. And you got to hit him in the mouth real hard. Quick, early. Pow, right in the mouth. You got to rattle him in that cage.
Bailey is 6'6", 190 pounds. He is out of Miami, Florida. So he has got the speed. He's one of those Southern Miami people. So but he's 6'6", 190 pounds.
That's a big one. That's a long stalk there, Ma.
But no meat on him.
Well, you get to see over the offensive line, so that's a good thing.
So that's what we got there. So we got Ohio State beaten. We got Clemson beaten. My friend, let's do a little bit of a let's do a little bit of here. Let me get this next thing up here. I think it's the next one is going to be your team. Yes, it is. We're going to go to Florida, invading Davis Wade Stadium in Starkville, Mississippi against Mississippi State. Both teams comes in at 1-2. Florida comes in 0-1 the SEC. This is the first SEC game for Mississippi State this year. Florida is favored by 7 points. Total and over and under is 58.5. Let's talk about your Gators. Can your Gators win this ball game today?
It's going to have to be a team effort. It can't be just one dominant player. We're putting too much stock in what we've done in the past. They're comparing this team because there's a freshman quarterback and there was a starting quarterback. It's getting the comparison when Tebow and Chris Leak was there as well as Cam Newton. It's getting that type of look. But those are not the same type of quarterbacks. Those quarterbacks came in. That's a rare pedigree of 3 quarterbacks. Very, very rare. You won't get that on the team anymore, ever. And Cam was already a big boy. Tebow was a big boy. Chris Leak was doing his thing. And now they're trying to compare the quarterback situation that we have right now with that class. Stop it. Unfair. Can we let these kids here on this Florida Gator squad? They're not the Netflix team. They're not the Tebow team. This is this Gators team. And Coach Napier has to get up to the level of coaching this team. And that is the problem. The coaching is atrocious. The play calling is what sector is this from? I don't know what they're trying to do. There's no leadership on the field. There's no leadership on the sideline. I don't know where this team is at. I don't know where the 7 points came from. And we're definitely not going over no 58 points. Not with this team. We're not where we need to be for as a team. And this is late in the year. It's early, but it's late in the year. What do we do?
If you look at your team right now, the matchup predictors got 52.8% Gators, 47.2% for Mississippi State. Mississippi State is playing home, but they also got a quarterback in Ben Chapin, who has 61 out of 87, 834 yards and 7 touchdowns and 1 interceptions in their 3 ball games there. And then Legway, who is the backup quarterback to Graham Mertz, who is 27 out of 44, leads the team with 541 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. So it's that ratio of that 4 touchdown, 3 interception for Legway. But also Johnson for them only has 33 carries, 166 yards, and 3 touchdowns, leading the team in rushing. And then Badger, who is your leading wide receiver, is 11 receptions, 260 yards, and 101 touchdown. Then if you look on the other end, Lee, who's only the leading rusher for Mississippi State, only 88 yards in 3 games and 21 carries. So we know they pass the ball more than they run the ball right now. It's a little bit different backwards what they used to be. You used to run the ball, pass the ball, but now they're more of a passing team according to these stats right now. And then Coleman Jr., who is 16 receptions, 268 yards, and 3 touchdowns for Mississippi State. How does Mississippi State take out Chapin and Coleman? Because those are the 2 of the guys you got to really do if this is a passing team and make them rush the ball. How can they do that? Can the Gators defense cover the wide receivers for Mississippi State today?
Well, it seems as though the routes are way too long for me for our receivers to make big plays. The routes are taking too long to develop. So that's one thing that Mississippi State can do. Don't let Florida get caught up in throwing the short ball, because that's when I think Florida can open up the game. But if Mississippi State can keep them with the routes going as far as they are, and as long as they develop, they have a chance on defense. That Florida needs to make the adjustments and look at the games we've played in the past. Look at the routes. They're not opening up when they need to. The window of opportunity is small. We're taking plays that should be done in 3 to 5 seconds, but they're having routes where it needs to be open for 5 to 6 seconds. It's not happening that way. It's taking too long to develop the play for the passing route. Florida needs to shorten that up, but if Mississippi State can pay attention to that and Florida is still on that, they have a field day, because stopping the run is like one of the easiest things to do up front with the Florida Gators. So that's a plus side for me with Mississippi State. If they can notice immediately what the receivers are doing. But if Florida gets into the short passing game early, very, very early, I think then they can get the confidence to stretch the field. They've been going for the big money play too much. It's not there. You don't always have to throw the ball downfield early in the game. Take what the defense is giving you. I don't know why teams run away from that philosophy. We're going to go down the field early in the game. Why? Who started this rumor? Who started this trend? Take what's given to you.
Yeah, another thing about it too, and this is an interesting tidbit I came across during preparing for this game, that the biggest challenge for the Gator secondary that is ranked 92nd out of 133 FBS teams, 235.7, and the next to last in conference. Florida's last week allowed the Aggies to throw for TDs of 73, 29, 178 overall, 2 games after number 19, Miami, threw for 385 yards and 3 scores in the opener. So it looked like it got a little bit better as, different games here. Can they take another step forward and make it a little bit more and cut down the Mississippi State passing attack?
The secondary has been getting torched all year. If you give up the big play on 3rd and 19, 3rd and 26, 2nd and 21, come on now. Everybody is taking a shot at the secondary of Florida. And back in the day, that was no way you were doing that. It's an open fly zone now. There's no fly zone. No, it's an open fly zone with Florida secondary. They have to make a statement today with that defense to let them know right now and put the message out moving forward. Stop thinking you can attack this secondary. We coming to hit you in the mouth, or we coming to take the ball. You deal with the punishment. But you're not coming down with this completed pass no more on these big plays. They got to stop giving up the big play. 3rd and 26. 3rd and 26. You think they're running the ball, Coach?
Yeah.
I mean, it shouldn't be that hard to do.
Yeah, I get you on that one too. That's a little bit of things of that nature too. But on the bright side for Florida, which is going to give the Badgers defense a little bit of trouble here, is Eli Badger, who has ranked 4th in the SEC with 260 yards on 11 catches, including 94 yards on 5 receptions with a score last week against Texas A&M. He's averaging just 23.6 yards per catch, 86.7 per game, also ranked 4th in the league. So how does Mississippi take out the leading wide receiver for the Gators today?
If he can't get open, that's the thing. You got to stop him from getting open. Because if he can't get open, they're not throwing him the ball. That's the one thing I can say. They're not doing any ill-advised throws if he's not open. They're usually taking a sack. You're taking losses for the team right there. But it must be they have to do something totally different. That's what I'm saying. I'm believing in the short game for Florida today. The short game, the patient running game, bore their defense out. Let them get bored. Because that's when teams make mistakes. But until then, just a short game. But Mississippi State can have an advantage if they press the receivers. If they press the receivers either inside or outside, I think they can have an advantage point, especially pushing them to the outside. The inside, you got a little bit more help there as well, but they love doing those trailing routes. That's an advantage point for Florida. But if Mississippi State can come up and press them on the line and push to the outside, that can be an advantage point for Mississippi State's defense. Challenge Florida's offense. Challenge them to make the adjustments. That can be a key thing as well. To challenge Florida to make the adjustments, either the pre-snap or the next play. Challenge them each and every time.
Yeah, that too. That's another thing interesting that you brought up there about challenging them and stuff like that. But also, if you look at Mississippi's quarterback, he is ranked 20th nationally at 834 yards passing after 3 games. So you got to bring the blitz in here to try to throw him off the mark. Try to tie, you got to throw some man coverage out there to take the receiver, jam them at the line, the receiver not getting them the free release. So that's going to be a little bit of tell for Florida. And then, do they bring more blitz in this ball game to try to affect Mississippi State and try to get the offensive line confused today?
If Florida should blitz Mississippi State, you saying?
Yep.
Florida does a great job at the blitz. They do. They do their part, but there's always one person that overthinks the situation. That's what happened in the Miami game, and that's what happened last week. We always got that one player that overthinks the situation. If we can have a little bit more discipline on the blitz, it can be very effective. But if there's no discipline, why are we doing this, Coach? Just like Lauren Hill said, what are we here for? What are we here for, Coach? The defense must be on the same page. The communication must be across the board. And for once, can we go 1 week, Florida Gators, 1 week without an unsportsmanlike conduct, please? If we can do that, pizza party. We're having a pizza party. If we can play this game with not one unsportsmanlike conduct, we're getting a pizza party. I'll let you guys pick the pizza.
And that's to me, when you get too many unsportsmanlike conduct and they're not playing with discipline, that's affects on the coaching staff not teaching the implement of getting their action in line, not doing something at practice to that person to get them to understand you can't do this in the game. So to me,
can't say that in a game because they get flags too for their language. Their language is offensive. You can't say those things anymore. And they got too much history, these kids at Florida and Mississippi State. Look at where they all from. They have some type of a meet and greet at a football camp or something. These guys have a history, and sometimes it doesn't go over well on the football game. Little extracurricular activity, little mustard on that hit, and here come the napkins, the yellow napkins. Now we got unsportsmanlike conduct detrimental to the team, probably get an ejection today. But if we can keep the emotions down and play football, I feel real good about this game for Florida.
Yeah. To me, going into Starksville on the road, SEC, Florida hasn't played really that great stuff against that.
Not at all. Haven't played good all year.
Not even against, let's take a look here.
Oh God, that win we had. No, that was horrific.
Y'all played what? Stanford. That's 45
Bible Way Baptist Church University.
Yeah, so they call him Sam, but yeah, short. But 45-7, and then turn around and lose to another Power 5 team in Texas A&M, who's been struggling also, 33-20. So you did score 20 points against them. That's 3 points more than you scored against Miami.
That was to appease Vegas. That was to appease ESPN Bet. That's all that 20 points was for. Because we didn't have 20 points worth of talent in that game. Don't get me started.
So you're taking your
notes
Gators,
from that
right?
game.
You're taking your Gators in this one?
Yes, sir.
All right, I got Mississippi State. And that one, that's our first odd one there. We picked together with Clemson and Ohio State. Let's do let's do one game rapid fire real quick. They'll know at Maryland. Who you got?
Fear the Turtle. Give me Maryland.
Taking Maryland in this one. All right, our next game we're going to bring up here is my team. It is the North Carolina Tar Heels. They're playing James Madison in Kenan Stadium on the ACC network at high noon. My friend, what does James Madison have to do to come into North Carolina and slow down what North Carolina's offense is struggles, but the defense has been picking them up here as of late right now for North Carolina? Does James Madison, who comes in with a predominant offense from a year ago, now the same thing this year? They played Charlotte. Both teams beat Charlotte on that night, different nights, but they played. That's the mutual team they play together. What does James Madison got to do to shut down North Carolina at home?
Can you imagine if James Madison would have just shut the hell up and played football? What the Powers would have done for them. But when they made everybody look at them, hey, we're here, we're ready to play, we want a bowl game. We want some of that action, boss. And then reality hit them. I think they're back down on planet Earth. But I do like their offense. They got that nitty-gritty. They're pretty fast. And they have loyalty. All those guys know each other, been knowing each other a long time. And that speaks volumes in college football when you have that connection. Because you know how that look is when you got a figured out type game mode. You know who to look to and who to go to. But it's not the same James Madison's last year. Not that same exciting squad, but they're still exciting. To go into Carolina and win, that's a tough feat because Carolina is not just a basketball program no more. They're coming to show us they can play some football as well. And they got the fan support with that football team. They're an exciting football team the past 5 6 years. I'm not saying it's going to be an easy win for Carolina, but I think it'll be harder for James Madison to go in there and win.
Yep. If you look at this thing too, James Madison beat Charlotte in the opener. Then they came back and beat Gardner-Webb, but they had an open week leading into the trip to Chapel Hill. So they had an extra week to compare for North Carolina. But James Madison run defense is going to play against the UNC strength is Oman Hampton, who is the All-American running back for North Carolina, who has over 441 yards so far in 3 games rushing, and significantly, I think he had about 3 touchdowns so far within the 3 games. So he has a touchdown in every game that North Carolina's played. North Carolina's now chasing a 4-0 start for the second straight year under Matt Brown coming back here. But they have a tight end who could play a mismatch, who has not been – he's got 8 receptions, 104 yards, and 1 touchdown leading the receiving core. Our tight end does, and Nesbitt. How does North Carolina get Nesbitt and Harrell? They are going to play a 2-quarterback system, and Chris Wall, who came in, who's got a better arm than Harrell, who can throw the deep threat more, but he's not kind of accurate. But Harrell gives them a different animal in the running with his legs. So with Hampton, Harrell, James Madison's going to put 8 men in the box. How does North Carolina get the passing attack going today?
Oh, you got to put a body on somebody. But I'm shocked, man. I have to give my respect to Mac Brown. I thought his coaching philosophy was way out of today's trend and culture. I didn't think his type of coaching would still be effective. Shame on me. But that's what Carolina got to do. They put 8 in the box, put a body on somebody, open it up with some quick slants, a little hitch here, make them move. Make them move outside of the interior of their defense. And that's the advantage point I think Carolina can have right there.
Yeah, if you look at this, too, the Dukes, as a member of the Sun Belt Conference, have allowed their first 2 opponents to average 120 yards on the ground and 3.6 yards per attempt. The 120 yards average is 4th among the Sun Belt team, but Hampton is number 6 nationally and averaging 138.7 yards per game and 4th in rushing yards, 416. He is 210 yards effort last week against North Carolina Central, is the number 4 output of the bowl subdivision player all season. So that's a little bit of tell there. But you also got to look about a player. Watch the James Madison's running back in George Pettaway. He spent the past 2 seasons at UNC before Hampton blossomed into the leading role and became an Associated Press second team All-American last year. Pettaway has ran for a touchdown against Charlotte, 84 yards against Gardner-Webb. He's averaging 6.3 yards per carry, 2 games. How does North Carolina stop that former running back in George Pettaway, who plays for James Madison?
I'm not letting one player beat me, Coach. Not in my book. If I got to put that much emphasis on him, there's something wrong with our program. If we do our job, his performance is not going to outdo what the team can do. So I wouldn't worry about just one player anymore. I think those days of having one player dominate the game and get the whole team to rally around that type of performance, I don't think that's in this type of a game between James Madison and Carolina. Now, I'm saying there are some guys out there that can ignite a team to go and play better than that they have, but I don't think this is that situation right here with this squad. So if Carolina just go out and play their game and don't let one player dictate the entire defense, they'll be fine.
Yeah, another thing in this contrast here, this first meeting against James Madison, North Carolina, came in 2007 with Butch Davis' tenure at UNC, with the Tar Heels winning 37-14. UNC has also won home games in 2011, 42-10. 2016, 56-28. James Madison was picked to finish second in the Sun Belt Eastern Conference, while UNC was picked 8th out of the 17 teams in Atlantic Coast Conference. James Madison is 7th nationally in averaging scoring defense, 6.5 points per game after allowing just 13 through 2 games. James Madison is also 14th in turnover margin with a plus 1.5 and in the top 10 for the fewest penalties and penalty yards per game before last year's 6-0 start. UNC hasn't been 4-0 start a season since 1997, but when the Tar Heels won their first 8 games in an 11-1 season. So that's a little bit of interesting thing too, but North Carolina's trying to get their 4-0 start for the second straight year. North Carolina did not get it last year. They lost that 4th game. Is this going to be the same Tim for North Carolina losing to James Madison on that, trying to get that 4-0 start to jump over that hump?
No, I mean, don't look ahead. I played this game for what we have. Play it quarter by quarter, half by half. Keep the game within reach. If you think that James Madison's more talented than you, Carolina, don't let them get that confidence builder in the game. Keep the game within reach and control the game. You already at home, that's a +3 in my book in this type of game right here. So you already have to gate up 3-0 to me in my mindset. And you keep the game Carolina style. Yeah. Carolina can not easily win, but I think Carolina can have a good time and win this game. It'd be a good quality win for them as well. And it's a good team win, being 4-0 in the ACC this part of the season. That's good for them.
Yeah, and if you look at North Carolina too, they played Minnesota's one of the Power 5 conference. They played 2 subpar teams after that, but they were in all those games right there. But they were close games at times, and they pull away at the end. That helps North Carolina defense because they're now getting better on the defensive side. It's a little bit of their strength this year than it was last year. Collins came in from Georgia Tech, turned the defense around. This defense is more of an aggressive defense. It's no more of the bend don't break defense. This is more of line you up, hitting you in the mouth, kind of blitzing at different angles, different people. And the way he's got this defense performing right now, is Carolina's defense to you improved what you have seen the last 2 to 3 years?
Yes. I mean, I never thought Carolina would be a defensive-minded school in the ACC, no matter how funny that may sound to you. But Carolina really has a good quality defense. Like I said, I thought Mac Brown's whole philosophy was just going to fly out the window. I thought college football has way beyond past what he's trying to coach. But no, he's keeping it real simple for these guys to go out there and do their job, and as well as his coaching staff. So that's accolades across the board for the coaching staff and understand the message what Mac Brown is trying to put out there, and it's transparent enough that the coaches and the players get it. So that's awesome to me. That's awesome.
Yeah, and if you look at it too, what Cobb's philosophy is, and what Mac Brown has now done with the offense, not a high explosive offense, but more leaning to the running game, getting a little bit more of time possession in ball games than, going up and down the field. Defense come out being tired at the end of the game. These defenses right now at the end of the game, the last few games, have looked stronger and stronger as the game kept going on. So I think that's a little bit of a change. But to me, when I said the season started for North Carolina, when we talked about it, was the quarterback play. They still have not got the quarterback play what I think they need to get done, but the two quarterback system could really help Carolina this year. This could be a first time that we see the two quarterback system really helps them, because Hurl does something that Griswold can't do. Griswold does something that Hurl can't do, but you still can't put a different game plan in, because both of them can pass the ball, both of them can run the ball. So
right.
It's the same game plan, not changeable game plans. I think that's when a two quarterback system works, is when you have one player you can't figure out and you have another player you still can't figure out. That kind of helps change the philosophy of the defense, because you can't change your defense philosophy because these two quarterback does something different. So which quarterback today you think will have a better game? Will it be Harold, the freshman, sophomore quarterback, or Griswold, the senior quarterback coming in, who had a better game against North Carolina Central last week?
I like Carolina's quarterback coming at this with an advantage point. I really do.
So, all right. I got North Carolina winning this game. Who you got winning this ball game?
I'm going to go with the Tar Heels as well.
Of course, I'm a homer. So, I have North Carolina just like you have your Gators here. All right. When we get back, we're going to do a speed round, get it all the way up to the Virginia Tech at Coastal Carolina at 2 o'clock game on ESPN Plus from Brooks Stadium in Conway, South Carolina. But when we come back, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back after these messages on the All Sports All Place college breakdown on All Sports All Place Network. We'll be right back.
All Sports All Plays. All Sports All Plays. All Sports All Plays. 365, we're making a plays. You're talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so type the laces. All Sports All Plays. All Sports All Plays. Network. We on top of our game. All Sports All Plays. 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 365, we're making a plays. You're talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so type the laces. All Sports All Plays. All Sports All Plays. Network. We on top of our game. All Sports All Plays. 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 365, we're making a plays. You're talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so type the laces. All Sports All Plays. All Sports All Plays. Network. We on top of our game. All Sports All Plays. All Sports All Plays.
Welcome back to the All Sports All Plays college breakdown on the All Sports All Plays Network. I'm going to bring back my co-host, Who's Podcast, the Who's to Blame Podcast, my man, the Florida Gator himself, Mr. Dre Montez. All right, Dre, welcome back to the show here. We're going to keep going on. We got the fast, rapid picks here. Who you got? Charlotte at Indiana. Who you got?
Indiana.
I'm taking Indiana also on that one. Houston at Cincinnati. Who you got?
Houston.
You taking Houston on that one? I'm going to take Cincinnati on that one. I don't know why, but I will take Cincinnati on that one. Kansas at West Virginia. Who you got?
Kansas.
I'm gonna take Kansas on that. I can't trust the incest state of West Virginia there. You know, Mountaineers out there partying with their cousins and end up in the cousins' bed, something like that. But that's okay. That's how West Virginia runs up there. Tulane at Louisiana. Who you got?
Who was that again?
Tulane at Louisiana.
Let me get Tulane.
You taking Tulane? I'm gonna take Tulane in that one too. Rice at Army. Who you got?
The Army.
I'm taking Army on that one. Keep it the military family there. Ohio at Kentucky. Who you got?
Kentucky.
Taking Kentucky on the performance they had against Georgia was unbelievable. Even though they lost in that ball game. Ball State at Central Michigan. Who you got?
Ball State.
Taking Ball State. I'm gonna take Ball State too. Central Michigan ain't been on the thing. Arkansas State at number 20, Iowa State. Who you got?
Iowa State.
You're taking the number 20 ranked team also on that one. All right, my friend. Let's get it going here. We are gonna break it down here to Virginia goes into Conway, South Carolina to play Coastal Carolina at Brooks Stadium today. Game time is 82 degrees. And we're looking at the 3.5 favorite of UVA, the Cavaliers. Total points over and under is 52.5. What do you think about the Conway, South Carolina, Coastal Carolina team this year from the years past?
They're fun. They're fun to watch. They remind me so much of Central Florida when they were turning things around. But Coastal Carolina is a lot of fun to watch. If you haven't seen them play yet, guys, just check this football team out. They're a lot of fun to watch. They're always in every game to me. They never are down as far as the energy level of the team. I mean, that sideline is just hyped the whole damn game. They're a very fun team to watch. That's what I like about them.
Yeah, I agree with you too. But you got the Coastal Carolina's head coach is former off defense. I think he was a defensive coordinator or either the offensive coordinator in North Carolina State last year. And Beck, how does since Beck is familiar with the Cavaliers, this is not a change of Tim Beck's philosophy here. He knows the Cavaliers very well from the stint at North Carolina State. He knows Elliott's game plan because he was there last year at NC State. How does Tim Beck employed Coastal Carolina's offense against the Cavaliers defense today?
You said it right there. He's very familiar with them. So I would just go off of the game film I know in my own coaching ability and put that into the game plan here. Keep the game simple. Keep the game in reach. Keep the game in front of you, not behind you. And minimize the mistakes. Real simple game plan. When you know a team, especially and you are from the defensive side of it, that really helps. I love head coaches that have that defensive mindset. It really goes and shows in game preparation and the discipline of a team. If they can show that with Coastal Carolina, and because Virginia is no slouch now, it's not the Virginia program that we know of, but at still Virginia, they do a great job recruiting for that program. If they can put it together, then it can be a battle for Coastal Carolina. But this may be that type of battle that you need when you're building a program to become a common name, especially with the new format of the playoff system.
Yeah, if you look at Tim Beck, he was the offensive coordinator at NC State since 2020. So he has 3 years of coaching against the Cavaliers on that Cavaliers defense. So I mean, the Chandeliers is going to be very compressive of Virginia's defense. So that's going to simulate, but also, Virginia has some things against him because he's seen the offense again at NC State, but different players at Coastal Carolina. Coastal Carolina comes in the game 3-0. Virginia comes in at 2-1 in this ball game. But his alma mater, Tim Beck's alma mater, is Kansas State University. His record is 11-5 right now. If you're looking at total wins and losses here, what does Virginia have to do differently than they have done in the first 3 ball games coming out on the offensive side?
You can't let a team control the game. Don't let Coastal Carolina control the speed of the game, the flow of the game. if they can just go up and down that field offensively, and they're going to wear them out with their substitutions and how fast they are and how fast they run plays, that could be the learning curve right there to me for Virginia in this matchup, is to control the speed of the game. Control the speed of the game.
Yeah, if you look at this right now, the Chandeliers are trying for their first win over over any ACC teams. The only other such game in program history was a 49-3 loss to Clemson in 2009. So that's a little thing you're looking at the Chandeliers here on that. But Virginia's quarterback Anthony Colinda averages against Coastal Secondary. Colinda has 300 yards passing games, 200 yards passing games in his time with the Cavalier, but the Chandeliers only allowing 200 yards a game through the air. Opponents have 4 passing touchdowns this season against Coastal Carolina, so it looks a little bit promising for Virginia. How do the Chandeliers shut down the Virginia's quarterback today?
Shut down means throwing under 150 yards. I don't think that's going to happen at all, shutting them down. You don't want nobody getting comfortable. You want to try to rattle the cage a little bit. Hitting the receivers, getting to the routes, being on your spot. Don't let them get too much yak, meaning yards after the catch. But as far as shutting him down, I don't see that happen. Just don't let him have a field day out there, throwing for 350, 3 touchdowns, things of that nature. You keep it reasonable. Maybe a 220 passing yard, maybe 1 tug. But shutting them down, I don't see that happen.
Yeah, if you look at it too, the player to watch is Malachi Fields, has the Cavaliers' most reliable pass catcher this year with 20 receptions, 284 yards, but he has yet to break through the TD after 5 catches and 5 touchdowns and catches in 2023. But Coastal Carolina quarterback Ethan Vasco has taken over the starting role over Grayson McCall, but he hasn't missed a beat. He has thrown for 512 yards with 3 touchdowns and an interception in the Chandeliers' perfect, start so far. So how does Virginia defense try to stop and slow down the Chandeliers quarterback and the way they're playing their offense right now? They're moving up and down the field like it ain't nothing against teams' defense right now. This is the first challenge of a Power 5 team that Coastal Carolina's got to play this year. So far this year. So do we see the same resemblance of the offense, or are we going to see a totally different offense here and against a Power 5 team?
I think Carolina's going to go what's been working for them. That's that speed. That's that getting them plays in and out, a little bit of a Chip Kelly type of thing. So if I was Virginia, get some oxygen. Next man up, be ready, stay ready, because they move with such speed and flexibility on their plays and their cadence. They have a smooth rhythm going, like very smooth. But again, don't let them get comfortable. If Coastal Carolina gets comfortable, meaning they can do anything they want to up and down that field, it's going to be a long afternoon for the Cavaliers.
Yeah, and if you look at it too, the Cavaliers last week had 9 straight games with 100 yards receiving. That game ended last week in the loss of Maryland. Maryland did not allow anybody over 100 yards receiving for the Cavaliers. That's the first time in 9 games there. Coastal Carolina is one of just 2 teams in the football subdivision with 3 defensive touchdowns this season. Arizona State is the other. Virginia, with 10 penalties through 3 games, is the ACC's least penalized team and ranked 6th nationally. So they're not penalized team. They're a very disciplined team. That's going to be a little bit of a grade going into this hostile style. But this is the first time Virginia visits Coastal Carolina, a different atmosphere, a smaller stadium, really, compared to what they played in Scott Stadium. But Virginia on the road has not lost so far this year. They lost at home against Maryland. So which one is going to break? Who you got in this ball game today?
I like Coastal Carolina, man. That team has really grown on me over the past few years, man. I really like what's going on down there.
I'm going to take Coastal Carolina because they're playing at home. I think Tim Beckett's got them ready. I think that familiarity, both coaches know each other very well at Tennessee's, because on the outside, Tony Elliott came out of Clemson. They had his familiarity, so they've been in the league together for a while. So both teams know each other very well in their tendencies. So this could be a good matchup, good defensive battle. This could come down to a field goal win for Coastal Carolina in this ball game. or Virginia win, but I'm going with Coastal Carolina in this one here. So that is my goal for this game here. So, all righty. We're going to do some fast, rapid reaction here all the way down until we get down to the next game. Will be number 11 USC at Michigan today. So we'll get to that game here. Let's do fast, rapid thing. Utah State at Temple. Who you got?
Utah State.
You're taking Utah State. I'm going to take Temple in this one. St. Francis, Pennsylvania at Eastern Michigan. Who you got?
St. Francis.
You're taking St. Francis. I'm going to take Eastern Michigan in this one. So we got some games that were different. Eastern Washington at Nevada. Who you got?
I mean, Nevada.
I think Nevada's improved. I think Nevada will win this ball game easily. Kansas State at number 10, Penn State. Who you got?
I'm gonna trust in these nitty lines. I'm gonna give me Penn State. Let me see what's going on, what's cracking and popping with them.
I'm gonna take Penn State. All righty, we're getting into this game here. Number 11 USC. Lincoln Riley brings his team to the Big House in Michigan at 3:30 p.m. on CBS from Michigan Stadium, Ann Arbor, Michigan. Michigan is number 18th ranked team. I forgot to put it in there. Let me edit that real quick here. They're the number 18th ranked team. So two top 25 teams going at each other today. Michigan's coming off the loss. Can Michigan revitalize themselves and try to take USC down today in the Big House?
This matchup is intriguing on so many levels. It's to show me the growth of USC because I don't not believe in that defense at all. They blew so many games last year. It was pathetic. They're like the Yankees of football. Yeah, we know you can score 50 points, but do you have to give up 45 to do it? And with the Michigan's program, with new coach, considering everything that happened in the offseason, in the sideline, in the locker room, with electronic devices, all kind of stories surrounding the Michigan Wolverines football program. I don't want to see the coach cry anymore. I don't. But I want to know what direction is Michigan going with. Are they going off of the anger and the disrespect people have shown them by saying, hey, let's go ahead and take that national championship away with talks and threats of that? Or should they just go ahead and focus on what the coach they have now is trying to tell them to do and should do? It looks like Michigan is confused with me. I've seen two different teams play this year for Michigan. With a real Michigan Wolverines team, please stand up.
Yeah, so I mean that's a little bit of thing too. So that's a good adjusters there on that USC team. Can their defense play with Michigan's defense in a Big House? Now we know what Michigan looked like against Texas. Texas offense batted them around a little bit there. So how did they find their way back into this ball game here? Warren didn't have a great game. He's 48 out of 72, 444 yards and 2 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He has more interceptions than he has touchdowns so far. Turned the ball over there. But if you look at Moss on the other side for USC, he's 48 out of 66, 607 yards, only 2 touchdowns, but no interception. He does not throw picks in the first 2 games there so far. But if you look at USC's rushing game, is 29 carries, 171 yards, and Marks and Mulligan, who is 36 carries, 270 yards for Michigan. But then you come down to the receiver. McCray has 9 receptions, 137 yards, but it took Loveland 19 receptions, 187 yards, and 1 touchdown to lead Michigan right now. How does Michigan get the passing game going?
That's the thing. They give up on things too easily. You know, they may try to pass the ball 5 times in the first 2 possessions, and if it doesn't go over 60% completion, Michigan's going to revert to the run program. And that's when they get caught up. By then, the game is starting to get out of reach. They can't get no momentum going just by running the ball. Michigan is not that type of program anymore. They need a little bit more balance with a passing attack and a run game. If they can't get the passing game going, it becomes too predictable for Michigan-style offense. It becomes predictable then.
Yeah, we got to change. You know, you still got the head coach that was there as the offensive coordinator. Won games when Harbaugh left on suspension. Didn't lose any of those games. But now he's lost a game now under his belt. How does he get this team to reflect? And how is his coaching philosophy going to change to get the momentum back to winning football like Michigan has done in the last 3 or 4 years on a Harbaugh.
It's going to be hard to escape in one season what Harbaugh has built as a philosophy and a mindset at that program. It may take another year for the coach to get his actual players in-house to listen to his message. But until then, you got to come up with a game plan that he know for sure he can get his message across to them by having this type of a game plan. I would let the defense dictate the outcome, how the offense is going to go out there and play. I will put my defense on the field first if I was Michigan today.
Yeah, if you look at that situation there, you look at some other things here in this mix here. This team is still good at home in Ann Arbor. But now Lincoln Riley comes into Ann Arbor. He wants to take USC to the next level. The next level is getting national championships. That's the way they brought him in. Well, all the stuff they brought him in with, taking him out of Oklahoma now, bringing him into USC, trying to make this team in a powerhouse. But now you got Williams out. He's gone. No more Caleb Williams. You got Moss in there, quarterback. They're still not missing a beat right now. How does Lincoln Riley keep his team winning at top notch? And how does he turn his defense around to where not giving up so many points? He brought a new defense coordinator in that. How's that working out right now for Lincoln Riley?
I mean, Lincoln is more focused on the offensive side of the ball more than anything to me. He likes to light up the scoreboard. That's what he's been known for. That's how he got the high power position job. The defense must understand how to stop people. You don't have to let them score points every time they get on the field. That is what USC defense problem is to me. It's not consistent enough. When the last time you known USC to have a powerful defense? Let's just be real. They don't recruit for defense. They get lucky here and there with your Troy Polamalu's, your Junior Seau's of that situation. But it's not an every year thing with them defensively. They're known as offensive production. Let's stretch the field. Let's put some points on the board. That's Trojan way. That's the USC way. So me wanting great expectations out that defense, it's unfair. They're going to give up at least 30-plus points, that defense is. We know that for a fact. But can you stop a Lincoln Riley offensively led assault? That's the one thing Michigan got. Don't let Lincoln get deep in that playbook. Don't let him get deep in that playbook because he's going to tear you up there.
Yeah, if you look at this thing too, Lincoln Riley made some good points here. He came out and said in the press that he spent this week trying to simulate Orja's ability to run. So, I mean, he's been spending some time on the defensive side trying to get the game plan of how to simulate the guys, Michigan's running game of the quarterback. And so that's really interesting. The chosen is respect for his arm, but he also got to respect his legs too. So that's going to give him a little bit of thing. Caleb Williams says Miller Moss off to a solid start, which I said earlier. What is the difference? Williams is more of a dual threat, running the ball. Moss is more of a pocket passer, game managing type deal. He does make some mistakes that Caleb Williams does by throwing the interceptions. What is your take on the transition from Caleb Williams to Miller Moss right now on the Lincoln Riley?
Well, they're totally different quarterbacks, Caleb and this kid is. They're totally different style. I mean, Caleb had that flick of the wrist throw. Yeah, he can run, but he likes to throw more than anything. This kid pretty much sets and fits more of the style of a quarterback that Lincoln Riley wants, that he feels as though he can coach up more than anything. When you have the attributes that this kid has, that's a doable thing for Lincoln Riley. As you can tell how comfortable and how well they work together in getting these plays done and out there, because the Lincoln Riley playbook is up there with Sean Payton's playbook on the NFL side when it comes out to the type of plays and the style of plays that he can put out there. He's a rare mindset in figuring things out offensively, but he has a quarterback that he deems fits his style. And when you have that, it makes your job much easier. It makes what they're doing look like what he's doing very easy. That's why it makes USC offense click the way it's clicking. But you don't want it to click too well, Michigan. You want to try to offset something, get a little nasty up front on that line, the interior part of that defense. Stretching the quarterback and moving the quarterback outside of the pocket. Sometimes we think it's a good idea. We don't want him rolling to his strong side, meaning rolling to the right. Make it uncomfortable. Push him the other way. Push him up the middle. But you have to do something different to distract what they're trying to pull off when it comes to USC offense.
Yeah, I agree with that. But Colson Loveland is the big tight end, all preseason All-American tight end. He got injured last week, but though they more than that closed what the injury was. Now he's a game time decision. If Loveland cannot go for Michigan, that's a big blow for Michigan. How does Michigan overcome with the loss of the All-American preseason All-American tight end in Loveland in this ball game if he cannot play today?
I mean, that's one thing about Michigan. They are good with next man up when it comes to the tight end position, when it comes to the offensive line position. Michigan is already next man up. They got quite their bench, their backups are All-Americans as well, too. Either All-State from some high school, All-American from high school. They're not getting no just fresh to football type backup system over there. Their next man up at Michigan is pretty much set and ready to go as well. So I'm not too worried about them missing their star tight end.
Yeah, and if you look at Moore's, you look at the difference focus here. You look at Lincoln Riley's focusing on the quarterback for Michigan. Moore for Michigan is focused on the 275, 6'5" USC defensive end Anthony Lucas. How does Moore put him in a situation where they have to start chipping him? They got to keep him out of the backfield so that quarterback can have a chance to win this ball game. Sorry about that. So how does Moore try to stop Anthony Lucas, the big 6'5", 275 defensive end for USC?
I'm running the ball away from him. I'm going to make him hunt. I'm going to wear him down. Let's check that stamina. Let's see how in shape he is. But I'm not running the ball to his side. I'm running away from him. Away from him. By that time he's worn out and tired, now let's attack that side. Let's go get him now. But don't go to his strong side. Don't go to what makes him an All-American. Don't do that. I don't want the dog to come off the porch. Put it that way. Keep the big dog on the porch.
Now, I look at that situation too. I look at two different things here. Which team needs the time of possession? Will it be Michigan needs the time of possession, or does USC? Or does USC just going to be a fast break team regardless? And hopefully Michigan keep that high-power offense off the field and also make Anthony Lucas tired with running the ball. If Michigan has a sustained running game under this game, this could put a lot of pressure on Lincoln Riley's defense. But how does Lincoln Riley force that issue not to make the thing of more of a running game? Because look at this. The defense ends going to play a big part of this game because Oger Warren, who can run the football for Michigan's quarterback position, a lot of read option could be even play here. And I can give Lucas a little bit more thinking on there and make him out of his game a little bit because he's got to know when to crash down, when not to crash down, because Warren can easily pop it and go around him on that read option.
Okay. The time of possession question. I think if Michigan can control the clock, they're going to win that. But it does not matter to USC. They like to score fast, as you pointed out. It's going to be up to USC's defense. That's the only way USC can win this game. Not their offense. Not outscoring their opponent. No. They got to stop Michigan. Because you get Michigan into a going back and forth game. Michigan can play that game. Probably not scoring every 2 minutes and 37 seconds the way that USC would like to on a time possession when they get the ball. They want to score that fast. They don't have time for a 14-play drive. That's not that makeup of that team. They want a 4 to 6 play scoring drive. That's it. That's what USC wants to pull off. And Michigan cannot let USC get comfortable in that type of thinking. Make them use that whole playbook. Make them get in some 3rd and 6 situations, some 3rd and 8s. Make it that way, but you got to hit them in the mouth early, very early. I don't think their defense is up to it for as USC in playing a fast-paced game. Their defense of USC wants to get Michigan in a running type of a situation. But I don't want Michigan to run the ball 70% and pass 30. They're going to lose the game doing that because they won't be able to keep up scoring-wise. They got to keep the substitution, keep the flexibility, keep that thought process going with the defense, have them second-guessing themselves.
Yeah, so what we're looking at here, we don't want to see a track meet between USC and Michigan. Michigan don't want to see the track meet. Michigan wants to dominate the time of possession, dominate the game plan on running the football, making the defense stay out on the field, make them tired. But we know how USC's defense in the past gives up big plays, give up a lot of stuff. They have not done that this year so far, but they have not really been tested so far. This is their first real test against a top five, Power 5 team so far this year. So if you're looking at that situation there, I could favor Michigan a little bit too, because Michigan faced Texas, got them prepared, know what their efficiency and weakness were against Texas. How did they turn that efficiency around and make it a positive in this ball game today?
By not giving up on it. By not giving up on it. That happened a lot last week. A lot of teams did something in the first half. Second half came. They went away. They lost their identity. They ended up losing the game. You can't give up on it just because it isn't working this time that you tried it. Not saying keep going, but you got to pick your poison on when to do it and when not to do it. But don't give up on it. If it's already in your repertoire, in your playbook, don't give up on it. If it's in the game plan, don't run away from the game plan. Don't deviate from the game plan. We know you got to make those in-game adjustments and that half-game adjustments, and that's part of football. But don't lose focus.
Yeah, if you look at it this way, when I made the statement, USC did play LSU, but LSU took USC down to the wire in that ball game in a 27-20 victory. But then USC cranked it up against Utah State University, which is not a very well-known team anyway. So they're 48-0. They didn't allow them to score on the defensive side, but they did give up 20 points against LSU. Texas, on the other hand, kept Michigan at 12 points with 31-12, and then they came back and won against Arkansas State 28-18. So I mean, Michigan really didn't dominate Arkansas State like they wanted to. They only won by 10. So that's a little bit of a mixture there. Who are you taking in this ball game today?
Give me USC.
Taking USC. I'm going to take USC too. I think they're a little bit more polished on the offensive side, but I don't think Michigan can take that running game to the next level yet. So, all righty, my friend. Moving right along here today, we're going to look at this game here. UCLA will go into number 16 LSU at 3:30 p.m. on ABC ESPN Plus from Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge, Louisiana today. What do you see by UCLA? When they struggle against Hawaii, they have not played really good football. They lost here in the last few weeks here. Does UCLA get back on track at number 16 LSU, or will the SEC still dominate the Big Ten?
I mean, Coach Deshaun Foster, I'm still confused on what he was trying to explain to people about UCLA has a football team and where they're located at. Well, prove to me you have a football program. I've seen a different team each time UCLA has played this year. There is no consistency across the board. It's like there's too much confusion going on plays coming in, substitutions on defense. It's like everyone is lost to find out the last minute. On the other side, and playing at the other Death Valley, I don't know what Brian Kelly demeanor is to me. He's trying to be a Kirby Smart to me a little bit. His in-game antics, so to speak, when he know the camera is on him on the sideline. He's doing things a little bit too extra. I still don't know his true dialect, where he's from. I think it's because I don't like him. I need to stop that and just talk about the LSU football team itself. I like the fact they didn't give up on the game last week. They continued to play the game. They did not give up on the game. You know, most teams in the SEC When the fans are going down on them, they're booing, not making the noises and the cheers you're accustomed to hearing, second guessing themselves. Everything is not going your way, but the football team is on the sideline doing their own thing, giving each other confidence, building each other up. When you see that and they come back and win a game or sustain a lead or hold on for dear life, it kind of makes you appreciate a particular type of program. And I appreciate what that team has been doing. But when it comes to the coach is where I need to stay away from that. But
yeah, if you look at it this way,
UCLA needs though.
If you look at it this way, Brian Kelly is from Everett, Massachusetts. He was born October 25th, 1961, age of 62. He did go, his alma mater is Assumption University in 1983. That's where he went to school at. So he is from Massachusetts. He's a northerner, but acting like he's a southerner when he first took the LSU job with the southern accent. So, I mean, he showed me that he was fake anyway. He does coach pretty good football. When he was at Cincinnati to Notre Dame, now to LSU, but LSU is a different animal, SEC. So you got to win at LSU. You got to win. If Ed Orgeron won at LSU, won a national championship at LSU, he has to win that, keep that level up, or this could have been a bad hire for LSU, in my opinion. If he doesn't win a national championship in his time there, then LSU failed to replace Ed Orgeron with a better coach.
Ed Orgeron, he got it done.
Bring
all the women to practice. Bring them all.
He reminds me of that guy on Waterboard.
Yep.
You know, all he needed was take his shirt off and do the nipple pitch, and then it looked just like him.
He probably did on that practice field. All the rumors around him, all the women he had. Get it, coach. Get it, coach.
But if you look at this game here, UCLA has not really impressed me. They only scored 16 points against Hawaii. They gave up 13 points to Hawaii. They only scored 13 points against Indiana, but gave up 49 points against Indiana University football, which is known as a basketball school. So what does that now? Deshaun Foster, former back as an alma mater, not really impressive. Like you said, he's telling people what UCLA is or where they're located at. Everybody knows they're located in Los Angeles, in California area. There's no giving me that on that. But if you look at this thing here in the stadium here, in this thing with this thing about LSU here, LSU can win some games here. They don't have Georgia on the schedule this season, but besides that point, they are 2-1. They have the luxury of working on their shortcomings while still having an unblemished Southern Conference record. The Bruins are 1-1. By contrast, are coming off a humbling Big Ten debut, 42-13 loss to Indiana in the Rose Bowl. So they lost at home at the Rose Bowl against Indiana University. So that really doesn't tell me anything here on that situation. Can LSU force the turnovers like Indiana did against UCLA and really dominate this team?
I think they're gonna have LSU gonna have a field day on special teams, punt returns, and kick returns. They're real good at that. They're good on the corners on the defensive side, so watch out for a pick six. And don't forget, Brian Kelly would do a trick play, early game onside kick, or going for it early on fourth down. I can see that happening in this game. But LSU is starting to get something. Confidence, believability. I think they got that loss out the way, that beat down out the way early. And they've seen enough and heard enough of coaches' antics toward them when they're not doing their job. They want to keep playing fun football. When you're playing fun football, it becomes winnable. When you're playing indecisive football or undisciplined football, that's when coach is losing his voice because he's tired of preaching over and over and over what you keep doing wrong.
Yeah, to me, I think it's something about UCLA because Chip Kelly wasn't going to be fired at UCLA. He left to be the offensive coordinator at Ohio State. So USC was something about USC that Chip Kelly didn't like no more, or what they were trying to do. If he was going to, because there was no room for him getting fired. He left on his own, and he took a demotion really to go to be an offensive coordinator at Ohio State. So that right there left UCLA in a turmoil. And getting Deshaun Foster, I don't think Deshaun Foster is going to be the right coach for UCLA. He hasn't shown it so far, especially his rhetoric. He's talking about explaining what UCLA is supposed to be and stuff like that, trying to get people to come in. Nobody wants to play for UCLA and Deshaun Foster right now. How does he turn around and try to get the recruits and try to get this football team back on the right winning track right now?
In the words of Herm Edwards, you got to win the game. In order to get attention on UCLA, which I don't think anybody has been wanting to go to UCLA since the 90s, the years of Troy Aikman and Tommy Maddox, that's a problem. And Deshaun Foster went there with that great team, hell of a team he was a part of. But when you're trying to come back to your alma mater and rebuild a program, it's going to take some time. Yeah, we know NIL is out there. We know that. But what is the appeal? You got to make UCLA sexy again. You got to make it relevant again. And it's hard for USC and UCLA to be relevant in football. As crazy as that may sound, the history of both of those schools in sports, that they're trying to be relevant in football in 2024 and moving forward. And it's hard for them to be relevant because of the recruiting style, where you're at, the time you're playing, your strength of schedule. What am I getting out of this if I come to UCLA, coach? Talk to me. My parents want to know. It's hard for them to get the dominant dogs at those two schools right now, but they're getting better at it, especially USC. They have the upper hand. But UCLA, in order for them to get those high top 50, top 150 players, they got to win some quality ball games. They got to get out here and win. They got to get out here and dominate. Show us why you're on TV. Take advantage of that time you're in that weird TV slot time.
Yeah, if you look at this too, I mean, a lot of talks in the NFL was Eric Bieniemy in Kansas City. He's the offensive coordinator at Kansas City. But now he is the offensive coordinator at UCLA. He's having a tough learning curve at UCLA as offensive coordinator. His quarterback Garber has only completed just half of his passes, which is 1 touchdown and 3 interceptions. The run game has averaged lackluster 3.6 yards per carry, with Garbers as the team leading rusher. And this is what he said right here. This is a quote straightly from Eric Bieniemy to ESPN. I'm not taking anything away from Indiana because they did a hell of a job. But he added this: a lot of times we didn't do our part. I would like to see us line up and play a consistent opponent on a consistent basis rather than stump our foot. So are you looking at him trying to blame his team, or is he taking the blame for the miscommunication or the mis game plan that he has set up in this offense that he has for UCLA?
I tell you what, I learned this over the past few years of watching all these college football shows. A lot of these kids come out of high school programs. They didn't really have an offensive playbook. They ran 4 plays. On defense, same thing. They don't know the football dynamics of breaking down a playbook or how to read a playbook. So when you get a lot of these programs that allegedly are Power 5s, they have some players on there who are just now learning how to read a playbook, how to break down a playbook. What does it mean if you see this, if you see that? Because you have to talk back in what you see in football 101 right now. And if you don't have that IQ, that's where that coaching hurdle becomes you earning your keep. That's what all coaches mean. Hey, we got to do the small things. The small things is making and understanding if the player can read the play, understand the play, and break the play down. All that goes down in coach back moment during the week. And if they're not getting that classroom and book time together, you got to come up with different ways to understand and have that communication. Not saying you're not a great football player, but you got to understand the schematics and the verbiage of the game. And a lot of players, we think they don't know how to read a playbook. By the time they get to college, they're starting the football process over of reading a playbook. And that is amazing to me that these programs in high school, knowing this kid is being highly recruited to go to these Power 5 schools, and you know damn well you didn't show him anything when it comes to reading a football playbook.
Yeah, if you look at it this way too, this is an interesting tidbit. LSU coach, the first meeting was Ed Ogeron, who resigned that season. UCLA's coach in 2021 was Chip Kelly, who stepped down after last season. So that's a little bit of a tidbit there between the two schools coming in this day. UCLA beat LSU 38-27 in the Rose Bowl in the matchup that marked the end of the home and home agreement that began in 2021. So that was the series finale right there on that. But you're looking at a capacity of 102,000 people, capacity in the Death Valley, the humidity the day before the game. Foster plans to take his team to Tiger Stadium on Friday so the Bruins could get a fill of 102,000 capacity. How you
You don't get a
going to
feel on Friday? Come on, man. Make
on
it
Friday
make sense.
in front of 102,000 capacity? What LSU going to buy the 102 fans for him? Or did he buy?
That makes no sense. Put down the weed, man. Put down the weed, Deshaun. Oh my God, that makes no sense at all.
So what he do? He go out and buy 102,000 people, put the capacity people in there. I mean, 102,000 seats with nobody yelling back at you. You're not going to fill the.
That makes no sense at all. How does that prepare me, Coach, for motivation? What? You want me to see an empty 102,000 seat stadium to motivate me? Okay, Coach. Okay.
But you got 102,000 seat stadium, but they forgot the most important thing. When they come out of the locker room, they see the Tiger. They put the Tiger near the open where the teams run out at for the visiting team. So just wait till he gets out of the cage one time. So on this game here, who you taking in this ball game? You taking Brian Kelly or you taking Deshaun Foster and UCLA?
I'm taking LSU, man. Taking LSU. I don't think UCLA got that firepower yet. They don't have that fire yet.
That one comment kind of really messed me up there. So.
What comment? Oh, going to check out the stadium?
Yeah, you're going to check out the stadium on Friday for 102,000 fans.
Makes no sense.
All right, let's do a fast, rapid rewire until we get to the Arkansas Auburn. We got a couple games in between that. Miami, Ohio at number 17, Notre Dame. Who are you taking?
Notre Dame, the Golden Domers. Sorry about last week, guys. Sorry about last week.
Georgia Tech at number 19, Louisville. Who you got?
Louisville.
Taking Louisville at home. Buffalo at number 23, Northern Illinois. Who you got?
Northern Illinois.
I'm taking Northern Illinois. Keep on going. The coach might not cry after that game, but he did after we beat Notre Dame, which was susceptible. All right, Arkansas versus Auburn. Then we'll take a break and come back with the Memphis and Navy and all that. So let's do this one real quick here, and then we'll break it down, and we'll go to a commercial break.
Let me get Arkansas.
You taking Arkansas? You don't want to talk about it?
You just said rapid fire.
He just said rapid fire. Got you. I tell you, I'm gonna take Auburn. The only reason I'm gonna take Auburn is because they're playing at Jordan Hare Stadium. I think they're better at home than they are on the road. I think this could be a different Auburn team. Hugh Freeze still got some building to do, bringing his recruits in. Only a second year at Auburn. It usually takes a coach about 3 years to get the players all acclimated into his style of play. I think this could be a better Auburn team next year than they are this year. Arkansas, to me, I don't know what they're doing. I mean, they're up and down so far this year. But what is your take on this ball game, really? Just give me a quick take, and then we'll go to commercial break.
On Auburn and
Yep, Arkansas.
Yeah. I think Arkansas could have they're a good football program. They just lack confidence. In some football programs, they don't need a game at home. They need a game away from home to get some confidence. This could be that game for Arkansas, just to believe in their football program, the players that they have. Not saying they're going to get in the football playoff format, but to have a winning program, to get into a high bowl game. That should be the focal point right now for Arkansas. This could be that type of game. Not saying they're going to go ahead and just beat up Auburn, but this could be a winnable game for them to do a great thing for the football program and give them confidence, even if they're down by 3 at halftime. That's a momentum builder to me. That is a momentum builder to you.
Yeah. So we both picked that. We both picked that game. You got Arkansas, I got Auburn, and that's both teams are coming in 2-1. The ACC opener, SEC opener for both teams at Jordan Hare Stadium in 93-degree weather. Auburn is favored by 2.5. Total, the over and under is 54.5 in this ball game. So is that a good point spread there on the betting side?
What's the over under?
The over and under is 54.5.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's good.
So what would you take? You would take the over on that one? Okay. That's good. All right, guys. We're going to take a quick break. We're starting at a 2-hour mark here. We got 1 more hour left here on the All Sports All Place College Breakdown on the All Sports All Place Network. We'll be right back after these messages. Stay with us momentarily here so I can get this stuff stood up here. And there we go.
All Sports All Plays. All Sports All Plays. All Sports All Plays. 365, we're making a place. You're talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so type the laces. All Sports All Plays. All Sports All Plays. We on top of our game. All Sports All Plays. 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 365, we're making a place. You're talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so type the laces. All Sports All Plays. All Sports All Plays. We on top of our game. All Sports All Plays. 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 365, we're making a place. You're talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so type the laces. All Sports All Plays. All Sports All Plays. We on top of our game. All Sports All Plays. All Sports All Plays.
Welcome back to the All Sports All Plays College Breakdown, All Sports All Plays Network. I am Ray Crews. Like I said, later on today, we got Red Kingdom coming on, talking about the Kansas City Chiefs. I will be talking about the Jaguars and the Buffalo Bills on tonight at 9:30 to 11, talking about that game, seeing how the Jaguars get back on track. Also, we'll be doing the reaction show of that game on Tuesday around 7 o'clock on the All Sports All Plays Network on Jag Nation. Catch me there live tonight at 9:30 to 11 on the All Sports All Plays Network. You can catch me on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, where we come on here. Also, again, on Tuesday night, you will catch us live on the reaction show of the Jaguar versus the Buffalo Bills on that Monday Night Football game. So we're going to have that all to you coming up. Also catch a guy here on Who's to Blame podcast. That's coming up each week here on his network. He can explain that to you a little bit more. You can just go to take the QR code here. Let me send you the QR code again. So you can go ahead and just take a picture of the QR code that I put up here for his podcast, and that will take you to where his podcast is located at. He does have his on Spotify and Apple things too, so you can catch it on there. You can catch it on those specific spots on his replay. So that's a good thing coming up. But we're going to be dealing with the next game coming up for us. We will do a rapid fire all the way down till we get to the. Let me see where the Navy game is. Navy game. Let me see here. I'm trying to find where I put the Navy game at here. Let's say delete that one. Navy game's at 3:30, so we'll take a rapid fire all the way down to the Memphis and Navy game at 3:30. So we got a few games in between that. We'll do the rapid fire once he gets back in his place. He's a little bit standing break real quick here. He'll be right back. So we was talking about the Arkansas and Auburn game, the season open for the SEC network. Later on in the show, we got, like I said, we're breaking down the Memphis and Navy. We're going to talk about number 12 versus Utah versus number 14, Oklahoma State. We're going to be talking about number 8, Miami at South Florida tonight. Coming up, we also got California and Florida State coming up. The tail of that tape, a game for Florida State must-win game at Doak Campbell Stadium. We'll be talking about that. We also will be talking about number 6, Tennessee, number 15, Oklahoma at 7:30. We'll talk a little bit about Texas and Monroe game. Then we will talk about Michigan State and Boston College, and we'll finish out our breakdown at number 13, Kansas State, BYU. We have exactly 45 minutes before top of the hour. We'll try to get out of here a few minutes early so y'all can get yourself ready for the 12 o'clock games that start right at 12 o'clock. So we try not to keep it in overtime. So we go talk a little bit about each team's here coming up. We got a lot of games catching up. We have a total of 59 games to pick. We are on right now on game number 25. We'll do rapid fire 25, 26, 27, 28. And then the game where we're breaking down will be the number 29th game. So we're about 30 games away before we leave here. So we only got a few more games to talk about on our day here on the college breakdown show on the All Sports All Place Network. I'm going to take a quick 5, 10, 30 second, 35 second break. Depends on getting back. But you'll listen to the All Sports All Place Network college breakdown on the All Sports All Place Network. I'm Ray, and that's Dre. We'll be right back again.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. We talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
Welcome back to the All Sports All Plays College Breakdown on the All Sports All Plays Network. I'm Ray, and I'm bringing Dre right back in here. All right, my man. Let's talk about rapid fire real quick here. Rutgers at Virginia Tech. Who you got?
Me, Vitek.
You taking Vitek on this one? I'm gonna take Rutgers on this one. Central Connecticut at UMass. Who you got?
Me, UMass.
Taking UMass also on that one. Youngstown State at Pittsburgh. Who you got?
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh also. Arizona State at Texas Tech. Who you got?
The Red Raiders. Texas Tech.
I'm taking Red Raiders. I'm going to take Arizona State. I think Arizona State has improved pretty much from last year. Let's talk about this Memphis team who went into Florida State last year and this year and beat Florida State last football game. How does Memphis fare against Navy today here in Annapolis, Maryland at the finna put it up?
Hey, the way Memphis played last week, we'd be proud of themselves. Hey, shout out to my dude. I was in Navy with Reggie Miller and his brother who made ESPN, who was at the game. Shout out to you. And my buddy AB, his son plays for Memphis at receiver. But that was that type of win that Memphis had last week. That could carry a team through an entire season. Because that was a good quality team victory where they dominated the game. Like, they really dominated that ball game. And Memphis defense against the run, which is what Navy's going to do, is run. It's an easy thing to figure out. But it also gives Memphis the opportunity to really work on their run defense. This is the type of game to really help you work on your run defense even more. Because the way Navy is capable of running the ball.
Yeah, and you look at it, this is a totally different Memphis team, that well-balanced team that can throw the football, and Higgins has been doing outstanding, 67 out of 98, 741 yards and 5 touchdowns, only throwing 1 interception. But if you look at Navy's offense, it's run by Horvath, who is their leading rusher, also with 22 carries, 155 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He also is 12 for 21, 220 yards, and 3 TDs and 1 interception. Navy has thrown the ball a little bit more than they have done in the past. Kind of mix up a little bit there, but they still are known as a running school. They do have one wide receiver in Hendricks, who has 8 receptions for 172 yards and 3 touchdowns in his Navy career right now for this season. But Taylor, on the other hand, has 11 receptions, 164 yards. But you also got to think about Anderson Jr., the running back, 41 carries, 203 yards, and 4 touchdowns for Memphis. So which offense is going to take over this ball game today? Do you think Memphis, coming off the high, will come back into a low against Navy? Will the midshipmen kind of sneak up on them and try to make this? Because this is a better midshipman team than it has been last year.
Yeah, what you said, they're passing a little bit more. I only heard 21 pass attempts right now, and there's a crap load of running attempts. So I still think they're more of a run team than a pass team. And with Memphis, just don't play down. We talked about this last week and breaking down a few games, how it's just by common nature. You tend to play down to the situation when you're playing an opponent instead of playing up. If Memphis can play up the entire game and don't play down, they could really catapult of what they did last week. But I think Memphis right now, the way they played last week and knowing that football program and that coaching staff, I think they're going to be on the upside of this as far as coaching style and tempo of the game. But if they, by any chance, get slowed down too much by the tempo of the midshipmen, meaning i.e. they get bored during the game, that's when it becomes frustrating for players that want to get out there on the field, get at it, keep it moving. Got to keep moving the body parts at all times so you don't get bored.
Yeah, if you look at this too, if you look at it, matchup predictions got Memphis 74.8%, gave his Navy 25.2% chance of winning this ball game. But if you look at the interesting contest here, you know that Navy has scored 49 points, but they played Bucknell first game. They played Temple. They scored 38 points, only giving up 11 and 21 in those 2 games, combined of 32 points given up for the season so far. But if you look at Memphis, on the other hand, Memphis has scored 38 against Troy, 20 against Florida State, only giving up 29 points so far this season, only gave up 12 against Florida State and only 17 against Troy. So both teams' defenses been playing excellent football games here. So, I mean, if you look at the contrast of this game, you have a running team who's scoring about the same as a throwing team of Memphis. So that right there could play a little bit of hands too. But the time of possession, we always talk about time of possession. If Memphis gets control of that time of possession, then they have more 30 of winning this ball game. But if Navy handles more time possession, that can wear Memphis defense down. So right now, with all their running attacks, if Navy gets that running game going, that triple option, whatever they're running right now, if they get that thing going, Memphis could be in for a long day.
Long drives, 12 plays and over, and they're only getting 3 points. That could hurt Memphis as well if they let the midshipmen do that. Play drives over 12 plays, but they only put up 3 points. That could still hurt Memphis due to the time of possession. So they have to be careful of the long drives and the time of possession.
Yeah, that's why I look at it too. And this one. So who you got winning this ball game? Do you have Memphis going 4-0 after this game, or do you have Navy going 3-0 after this game?
Give me Memphis.
You taking Memphis? I'm going to take the midshipmen. I think because Navy and Memphis always play a tight game, so I think this is going to come down to the wire. Most people think it's not, but I believe it could go to the wire. If it does that, Navy has a chance of winning this football game. All right, let's do a little bit of rapid fire. Houston Christian at UTSA. Who you got?
UTSA.
I'm taking UTSA. All right, my God. Let's go here to this one. This one's number 12, Utah. Number 14, Oklahoma State. The Cowboys at 4 p.m. on Fox from Boone Pickens Stadium in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Does the Ute have a chance going into Oklahoma State and winning this ball game today? Tough place to play.
It's a winnable game. It's a winnable game for them for sure. It definitely is a winnable game.
It's going to be 97 degrees at Oklahoma today. At Oklahoma State. Both teams coming in at 3-0. We know about Rising coming back for Utah. He's 18 out of 29 for 346 yards, 7 touchdowns. Bowman is 75 out of 112, 967 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions within those 3 games. Contrast there. But you look at the running game, Gordon is, who's supposed to be the big factor for Oklahoma State. He's only has 62 carries, 216 yards, and 4 touchdowns. And Bernard for Utah has 41 carries, 274 yards, and 1 touchdown. But if you look at the receiving, it's a totally mismatched. Stribling for Oklahoma State, 17 receptions, 295 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Stanley for Utah is leading them with 5 receptions, 155 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So Rison's back from the injury. Does Rison, has he shown any rust coming back from that injury? The first game, I thought he had a little bit of rust. He knocked it off against the last game. But does he show any more? Does he rely on, how you come from a leg injury? Some people favor that leg injury a little bit more and take a little bit more to get back into the game.
I think he got that out the way that first game. That's that initial thought. You don't want to hurt the leg again. Once you get past that, the psychological effect of that, you're going to be fine. But it's always that tendency of that thought process. I don't want this to happen again. I mean, everybody goes through that when they come back from a severe injury or a leg injury, to that matter. But I think he's going to be fine right now.
So who do you have the advantage of? Do you have Rising advantage or Bowman advantage? Bowman's been playing good. He has 112 attempts. So at quarterback position, does Oklahoma State Cowboys have a better quarterback than Rising and Utah?
No, Utah has something that they have a lot of chemistry offensively. They really do. And I like when teams have something to work with, something to rely on. They feel real comfortable when they're in that situation. And I think Utah has that. They've been building on that the past 4 years here and getting a little bit more better at chemistry building, not just building a program and a team, but getting players that are in a line alike to work together. And I like that about Utah.
Yeah, and they got Oklahoma State favored by 1.5 points. Utah leads the series 1-0. If you're looking at the over and under in this ball game here, it's 53.5. And like I said, Utah's they put Utah now favored as 1.5. So
that's going over that.
So you're looking at the betting thing. I believe this is going to probably be a high scoring game myself. I don't think nobody plays good defense out of both of these schools. So who wins the shootout in this ball game?
Give me Utah.
Taking the Utes. I think Bowman. I think the Mullets, and then playing at Oklahoma State. I think that's going to be helping. I think I'm going to Oklahoma State in this ball game here. Number 14 upsets number 12. All righty. Let's go a little bit of rapid fire here. Duke at Middle Tennessee. Who you got?
Duke.
Taking Duke. I'm going to take Duke in this one also. Vanderbilt at number 7, Missouri.
Mizzou. M-I-Z-Z-O-U.
Taking Mizzou on that one. TCU at SMU. Who you got?
Boston College?
No, TCU at SMU.
Oh, TCU. I'll give it the Horned Frogs, TCU.
You want to take the Horned Frogs? I'm going to take SMU in this one. UTEP versus Colorado State. Who you got?
Colorado State.
You taking Colorado State? I'm going to take Colorado State too in this one. Monmouth at Florida International. Who you got?
Florida International.
Taking Florida International in that one. East Carolina goes into Roanoke, Virginia, and Liberty. Who you got?
Liberty.
Number 8, Miami at South. Here we go. This is the game we're going to talk about next. Here is this one here. The Hurricanes go into Raymond James Stadium against South Florida at 7 p.m. on ESPN in Tampa, Florida. Who you got? What are we looking at in this ball game today? Is we looking at Miami? If we're looking at Miami dominating South Florida, or is South Florida going to be tougher at home than most people think?
I think Miami is trying to put their foot out there on people's necks, man. They got a real smooth thing working at their quarterback position. It came too natural. It came too smooth. And they're reaping the benefits of such a great NIL or transfer situation that they got themselves in. I mean, that football team looks really, really good. I mean, they're not reminiscent of the 2000 Hurricanes team, but this team right now is finding its own identity to go out here and play with and compete with. They need a blowout win to really turn the heads of the committee. They need a big blowout win.
I mean, you got really a different style of team, but I mean, Brown's only for South Florida quarterback. He's 47 out of 84, 448 yards and 2 touchdowns in the 3 games that they have played so far. He has 46. Brown also leads the team in rushing, 46 carries, 254 yards, and 2 touchdowns in 3 games. And Atkins is their leading wide receiver for South Florida, 13 receptions, 164 yards. But if you flip it over to the other side, Cam Ward, who is 65 out of 89, 1,035 yards, and 11 touchdowns in 3 games, only 1 interception. So that's a good TD interception ratio. And Martinez, who leads the running with 29 carries, 159 yards, and 1 touchdown. But you got to think about Respo. He's got 14 receptions, 263 yards, and 4 touchdowns. So that's your favorite target right there for Cam Ward. How do you take his favorite target and Respo out of this ball game?
Bumping, get him out of character, piss him off. That's one thing I know for sure works in college football. You want to get somebody out of their tracks and off their game, make them mad, make them angry without disrespecting them, without getting a unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, without that. But it is possible to disrupt people just by the verbiage and the style of play. If you get in their face and everybody's been off them all year, but you're the only one that's challenging them on the line, that really upsets a player. And they don't like not getting their way, and they get way out of their total game, way out of the game. And it's hard to bring them back sometimes, and other guys do come back. But after that, it's probably 2 personal fouls, roughing the passer, late hit. Either way, we're 15 to 45 yards later because you lost your composure.
Now, flip it on the other hand, how does Miami defense stop Brown, who's a dual threat? A really dual threat because he passed the ball for 448 yards, but he also got over 254 yards rushing so far in the 3 games. So how do you start with dual threat and how you keep the defensive end not over progressing and having him escape through the back door?
With a quarterback that Miami has, I'm quite sure they work on that in practice because he's a dual threat as well, running and throwing the ball, but he does it with such ease and comfort. I mean, he just looks so comfortable throwing the ball and running the ball. He doesn't panic. His head is not moving back and forth on a swivel. This guy has the football credentials to be a leading quarterback in college football, and he fits the role and the mode at the U. I don't think too much can rattle. I haven't seen him rattled yet. Even after a hit, almost a big hit, missing a wide open guy, the for sure pass. I haven't seen the cockiness, the boldness. All I've seen is a guy that wants to play football and is having fun playing the football position for the U. And if you can disrupt that or him, I'm going to love to see this because I'm going to watch that game as well to see if anyone can disrupt him. Because he's been hit late. He's been hit low. He's been talked trash to, but he hasn't done anything other than play that position. He hasn't been rattled yet at all.
Yeah, so I'm taking Miami in this game. Who are you taking in this ball game?
I'm taking Miami as well, or as they say, the U.
All righty. Let's go ahead and do a rapid fire until we get down to the California and Florida State game. Rapid fire here. Northwestern at Washington. Who you got?
Washington.
You taking Washington? I'm going to take Washington because they are playing in Seattle. All right. Florida Atlantic at UConn. Who you got?
Give me UConn.
You taking UConn? I'm going to take Florida Atlantic in this one. California, here we go. California and Florida State is the game that we're going to be talking about right now. What is the issue with Florida State right now?
They don't believe in each other at all. There's no confidence at the quarterback. There's no confidence on the offensive line. There's indecisiveness on the coaching on the sideline. The bench is out of it. There's nobody in the Florida State football program that wants to continue this season. They pretty much figured last week when they lost, why are we playing this season? We know college football players don't play in bowl games. So why are we playing this season? That's the body language I'm getting from Florida State. Why are we still playing? They don't believe in nothing that's being done, and they're hurting big time at the quarterback position. He's second-guessing himself. Should I have transferred here? They're second-guessing themselves, the ones that came back from last year to make another run at it. A piss they didn't go to the NFL, a piss they did not get in the transfer portal. Think about all of that coming back in a negative way, the way Florida State has been playing football this year.
Yeah, if you look at that too, and what I told you at the beginning of the season is DJ Ugalea coming back to ACC. He had a better record in the Pac-12 than he does in the ACC. So I mean, he comes back to a conference now, leading Florida State. Florida State looks like the Clemson under DJ Ugalea was. He's not a proven leader to me. I don't think he's the leadership that needs. Is it a time for Florida State to make the change at quarterback?
Well, DJ has been running from competition since he's been in college. He's not transferred a better opportunity for himself. He's been transferring because he's afraid of the competition that's beside him or right behind him. He doesn't like the verbiage. He wants to literally be the big man and only man on campus. And those days of far and few are gone. That one-man show, those days are gone. It was fun in the 70s and 80s and partially of the 90s, but that type of football, that type of behavior, that type of macho is not needed or warranted. So that's where it falls at. It starts at home. It starts at home in Tallahassee. It starts with the Florida State football program. They needed to nip this whole mentality and attitude, or tude, as the kids say, at the first meeting of camp. They should have addressed all of the BS from last season. Hey, let's get this out on the table. Let's go. I would have went around the room. Everybody gets 30 seconds to speak individually, and we're not talking of this matter anymore. Let's concentrate on 25 and 26. Let's go. I'm sorry, 24 and 25. But
if you look at it now, if you look at it, Florida State has lost 3 straight home. Well, they lost 2 straight home games. The 1/3 game was a home game against Georgia Tech in Ireland. So if you want to count that as a home game, that's 3 straight home games they have lost this year. They're 0-3. Let's flip it a little bit around. A 3-0 California team who comes on after beating San Diego State 31-10, beating Auburn 21-14, and then beat UCD 31-13. How is this California team looking to you? Are they ready to contend, or is this just a precursor to when they start playing the ACC competition? This is the first start of the ACC competition against Florida State. Not really a showcase game, according to Florida State, because they're 0-2 in conference play and they're 0-3 overall. What is your take on California so far?
Well, if I was California, I would not believe in this before, and I used to hate this saying, but I would kick this dog as it's down. Kick him. I would hit Florida State everywhere they show inconsistent play at. Right now, the attitude is off the chain, so they're going to be real chippy. Watch the over-under on the personal fouls be at a 5. Unsportsmanlike conduct, going to be 5. That's my over-under on that. At the same time, Cal can throw that ball, and Florida State is having big-time coverage problems in the secondary. So I would take advantage of that. They've never been really a run-stop type of defense, Florida State, so you can have some fun there as well. But overall, you can pull out your entire swivel knife playbook, Cal, and go up against Florida State and just confuse the hell out of them the entire afternoon. And on the other side, you got Florida State, the first team since 2020 to be ranked in the AP top 10 to start out 0-3. That's a lot to deal with. That's a lot of verbiage. That's a lot of helpful and useful information when it comes to a game plan if I'm Cal, because this team is just – they're down in a way that part of the movie you don't want to see. You're going to pretend you got to go to the bathroom. You don't want to see this. This is god-awful to see, because they're going to lose again today. Because they're not in it. They're not vested in this program. They don't believe in the philosophy. They don't believe in the message on the wall. They're not listening to the coach when he's talking. They got their earbuds in. They in another place. They on TikTok. They texting their girl, what we doing after the game. Nobody is locked in, and you can tell by the body language.
Yeah. And if you look at it this way, the matchup predictors got Florida State 58.8% to win into 41.2 California. But they also got Florida State favored by 2.5 points in this ball game. An 0-3 team against a 3-0 team. That shows disrespect for California. That could give momentum. That could give momentum to California coming in there and saying, hey, you're not respecting us, and we come in here, we're going to whoop your butt and stuff like that. But, I mean, if you look at it, the running game for Florida State is not even kicking. 13 carries with 67 yards and 1 touchdown. But Tolafaya, who's supposed to be the high talent running back that they have. DJ Ugalea's got 56 out of 99. His number is 666. That's a bad omen anyway.
Woo!
Right there, that's the double omen right there, 666. So it was 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. He's got more interceptions than touchdowns. But sometimes it's not his fault throwing a football. Some of his receivers not catching the ball for him, not helping him out. But, I mean, sometimes he make good throws. I mean, he hit one guy in the numbers against Memphis, and the dude drops the ball. So, Kane's, I think it's a team concept. I think it's Novell. I think it's the mentality they have. It was either win a championship this year or nothing. So when they got that first loss, they really downplayed their season so far. And this is a must win for Florida State to even try to get bowl eligible coming up. So
what I would tell my team about Florida State coach, I would go into this like this. I would say, hey guys, we're not 0-3. Those 3 games didn't even happen. Our coaches, those 3 games didn't happen. We start off, we're 0-0 today, moving forward. Now we can get in the bowl game now that we done talked about it now. Now we're for sure going to get in the bowl game if we go out there with the philosophy and mindset that we're starting off today 0-0. We're not 0-3.
All right, so who you got winning the ball game today? I got California.
I got Cal.
We both got Cal in this one. All right. All right, we're going to do a rapid fire right now. Florida A&M at Troy. Who you got?
Troy.
Taking Troy on that one. Tulsa at Louisiana Tech. Who you got?
La Tech.
I'm taking La Tech also. New Mexico State at Sam Houston. Who you got?
New Mexico State.
I'm going to take Sam Houston in this one. Toledo at Western Kentucky. Who you got?
Toledo.
Taking Toledo. I'm going to take Toledo also. Wyoming at North Texas. Who you got?
Wyoming.
Take Wyoming. I'm going to take North Texas on this one. All right, my friend. The next game we're going to go with is Tennessee. We're going to talk about this one here. So, Tennessee, the Volunteers. The Hype Bowl reunion, which he's bringing his number 6 Tennessee into his home alma mater of number 15 Oklahoma at 7:30 on ABC ESPN Plus from Memorial Stadium in Norman, Oklahoma. Why you see this game? How you see the fast-paced Tennessee against a stingy defense of Oklahoma so far?
Oh, they're gonna come out firing on all cylinders. They're gonna try to keep their foot on the gas and keep this thing going, moving downhill, not uphill. They moving downhill. All steams ahead the way Tennessee offense is playing. They're playing like there's a checkerboard in each and every end zone where they go play it. That's the type of mentality and style they're playing with. I haven't seen them move this smooth since the days of T. Martin. Not Peyton Manning, but T. Martin. Haven't seen the team move this way, and they're looking good. They're fun to watch. Very fun to watch. But, hey, this will not be an easy slouch victory or game for either side. This is going to be one hell of a football game. One hell of a football game. And the closer and closer we get to that matchup with Tennessee and Texas, this here just a little bit of the icing on the cake for the matchup style.
Yeah, if you look at the spread, Tennessee's favored by 6.5. Total points is the over and under is 57.5. So, will you take the over in this one, or will you take the under in this one?
I'm taking the under in that.
Well, if you look at the situation we got going here, is Heupel's coming back. Do they boo him, or do they give him a little clap? Since he is
nothing wrong. He did his job when he was there. He did nothing wrong. He didn't leave under false pretenses. He didn't leave post-scandal. He didn't leave due to a love affair with a former student. No, he loved, hey, it's time for me to move on. I've enjoyed my time here. It's okay. That's called progression. That's called moving on up the food chain. And he's doing that. He's moving up the food chain per the food he wants to eat.
Yeah, if you look at Tennessee's quarterback, he's a former volleyball player, highly ranked volleyball player. Long Beach State wanted him so bad. They tried to give him money, but he wanted to play quarterback. He's an elite quarterback, elite football talent. He is 48 out of 67, 698 yards and 6 TDs and 2 interceptions. You want to take the name? Because I'll mispronounce it again. It's Alalea is his name, if I pronounce it correctly.
What's his first name?
Let me pull it. Let me see if I can pull his first name up here. Nico. I'll just call him Nico.
There it is.
Anyway, he's 48 out of 67 for 698 yards, 6 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Arnold, on the other hand, for Oklahoma, is 54 out of 86, 484 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. But if you look at Sampson, he's 45 carries, 357 yards, and 9 touchdowns in 3 games for Tennessee. Arnold leads Oklahoma in rushing for 36 carries, 159 yards, and 2 touchdowns. But the receiving core is Thornton Jr. for Tennessee, 5 receptions, 169 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And Burke with 22 receptions, 169 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So now you got Tennessee playing wide open, who is a passing, running attack, who's got a receiver, one dominant receiver on the team, but he spreads the ball around very easily. How do you see this game matching up to Oklahoma's defense, who has been stingy so far this year?
I don't, because Tennessee, if they keep the style of play they've been having this year up, they're going to challenge Oklahoma's defense very early. They're not going to know whether to cover the deep route early, keep my end rushers home, keep a couple of linebackers around just in case the quarterback takes off, because he does have that capability. Hell, he's a Heisman Trophy candidate already. They can stretch that field. And then the middle of the field is always a fun place to be for Tennessee with this particular team this year. The past few weeks, the way they've played ball, that left side of the field, he really loves taking advantage of. Really likes the left side of that field. So that already lets you know they got a nice little chemistry going already. That the underneath pass, don't get fooled by that at all. And they can run the ball. They are starting to turn into a mini back U as well. Nothing like Uga, but for Tennessee purposes, they're trying to put together a very nice little running back program, a game.
Yeah, if you look at it this way, even though they did play Kent State last week, and they did play UTCA, and they played North Carolina State, which was the Power 5 conference. If you look at it, the lowest points that Tennessee has scored is 51 points. That was against North Carolina State. The most points they have given up was against North Carolina State, only 10 points. Tennessee's only given up 13 points so far this year in defense, but they have outscored their opponents 71-0, 51-10, 69-3. But look on the other hand, Oklahoma's defense has given up 3 points, 3 points to Temple, given up 12 points to Houston, and only given up 19 points to Tulane. But they scored 34-19 against Tulane, 16-12 against Houston, and 51-3 against Temple. So if you look at the numbers, Tennessee's is in a class on their own right now in offense. And with the defense of Oklahoma being stingy, which one's going to have to give? It's going to be Tennessee not giving? Because Tennessee right now, they are on a momentum swing. They look like they're in mid-season form in their first 3 games. Did they peak too early?
No, I think Tennessee puts teams in trouble by the fact by the time the team look up, it's 21-0. Now the offense is going to try to play catch up. Here's something they're not going to do: run the ball. They become predictable, and you get into a 3 and out. You get into great field position. You come into short scoring drives. So now it's 28-0. And things of that nature. When you fall into their hands, it makes the game that much winnable for Tennessee. And the type of game plan they've been having, let's hit them in the mouth early. Let's let them make the mistakes. Let's not make the mistakes. Let them make the mistakes. 3 and outs, 3 and outs, 3 and outs. Punt, 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 punt. Great field position. Points on the board, either a touchdown or field goal. Put points on the board no matter what. That's great coaching when you can put points on the board every time you have the ball. No matter what, put points on the board.
To me, the way I look at it right now, Tennessee's version of the top 5. I think they are a top 5 team. I think they're going to be around for a while. I think Oklahoma is a top 15 team, but they're going to run into a buzzsaw tonight. I think Hopper will go back to Norman, Oklahoma, and still continue his winning streak that he had at Norman, but with Tennessee winning this ball game. How do you feel about this game?
I would love to see a great battle here come down within 3 points, but I just think the way Tennessee has been playing so far, I don't want to second guess that rhythm, that cadence that they got going, and the fact that they're playing fun football. Again, very reminiscent of the days of T. Martin being at the helm for Tennessee Volunteers. And again, they're making it seem like there's a checkerboard in each and every end zone this season. So I'm going with Tennessee in this game.
All right, Bo, got Tennessee in this game. We're going to go rapid fire real quick here. Bowling Green at number 25, Texas A&M. Who you got?
Me, Texas A&M.
Taking Texas A&M in that one also. Akron against South Carolina. Who you got?
Give me South Carolina.
I'm taking South Carolina. That Iowa at Minnesota. Who you got?
Give me Iowa.
You taking Iowa? I'm gonna take Minnesota in this game. All righty, Georgia Southern at number 5, Ole Miss. Who you got?
Give me Ole Miss. The Ole Miss. Ole Miss.
All right, let's talk about this. I don't know why I brought up the Tennessee game here because they're ranked number 1 in the nation. First time they've been ranked number 1 in a while. They got a good nucleus going, but what I really want to talk about this game is going to happen within 1 week. Brock Yours is supposed to come back next week. He's only supposed to be out 1 week. Is there a quarterback controversy in Texas right now?
Not at all. See, there it is again. It's happening again. Just because the next man is up, playing like he ready, that's what the backup's supposed to be. The backup's supposed to stay ready and be ready. And when they are, we immediately say, oh, we got a controversy. No. Now, if he couldn't play, people be saying, well, put him out there hurt. Couldn't be no worse than this. But the fact that he knows how to play this game, is ready for this game, and making it look so easy, now we have a controversy. No, not at all. You got a guy that came in to back up your starter who's hurt and made it look easy, and you won the game. That's all that happened. That's all that happened. No controversy. Not at all.
So we look at that situation, we look at this thing too here. Texas has not missed a beat with the backup with Archie Manning in the game. Does that hurt Brock Yours when he comes back in the Heisman race if he ends up in the Heisman Trophy thing? Because if Archie Manning can do what he's doing right now, that means the offense is nucleus. It's all about the offensive coordinator calling the plays, and it's not really a differential between the starting quarterback and the backup quarterback in voters' mind. This could hurt Brock Yours way Archie Manning has played that first game when he took over.
Well, as I was telling you a while ago, or a minute ago today, that what system these kids come out of in high school, the system that Arch Manning came out of was more of a professional football team. So he has an advantage point. Arch Manning knows how to do what? Read a defense. Very, very, very well. And if you can do something very well and nobody knows you can do it very well until it happens. See, that's what happened in that game. They didn't know he could read a defense like that. He can pick apart a defense. I mean, look who his dad is. Look who his uncles are. You don't think they ever gave this man a scenario of reading the defense? Hell, everybody can throw a ball. Everybody can throw a ball. But to play the quarterback position, you have to be well-rounded, well-versed now. You have to know how to read a defense. Just say hike and throw the ball. We're not Sandlot no more. We're not drawing plays in the dirt anymore. You got to go off of what's going on at that offensive line in your preset, in your pre-snap. And let's go pick them apart. And he can do that. That's the most dangerous thing I think a quarterback can bring to the table. Damn a dual threat run and throw at them ball. If you can read a defense, Lord help us all. Help us all. If you get a quarterback that can run, throw, and read a defense, help us all. We're going to need it. We're going to need
it. Is this the year Sarkisian gets his national championship for Texas?
No. They're going to get in the playoffs. But I don't think this is – you can tell a championship pedigree from the first game or the second game. No, not yet. It's not there. There's potential there, in my opinion, but this isn't. No, that Athens, Georgia, that's a different beast right there. That's a different beast. That is a championship pedigree. Ugga.
Well, if we look at Texas' schedule right now on this game right now, they beat Colorado State 52-0. They beat Michigan 31-12. They just beat UTSA 56-7. They got Monroe today. Then they're going to end up going to play Mississippi State at home. Then they got the Red River Shootout, number 15 Oklahoma on October 12th. Then after that game, now that's kind of bad. You got the Red River Shootout in 2 weeks.
When do you want it?
But you got Georgia right after that game.
Yeah, buddy.
So,
Mm-hmm.
and you got to go to Athens, Georgia, to play between the hedges. On top of that,
bring that ass. That's going to be football Saturday right there. Football Saturday.
Then Texas get a little break. Got Vanderbilt after Georgia, and then they got the Gators coming up, and got to go to Ben Griffin Stadium to play that game in November 9th. Then they got to go to they play at home against Florida. I'm sorry. Then they go to Arkansas. Then they got Kentucky at home, and then they got to go to Kyle Field at Texas A&M, the last game of the season.
Hey, you said
Texas got a road coming up. Texas got a road coming up. SEC starts on September 28th against Mississippi State at home. Then they go to Cotton Bowl. They play the Red River Shootout, number 15 Oklahoma. That's still a rivalry. Then you got number 2 Georgia sitting there waiting on October 19th. Then you get a break with Vanderbilt. Then you got Florida coming to your house. Then you're on the road to Arkansas, back home in Kentucky, and then you finish out on the road. So if they get through the SEC schedule and the SEC championship unscathed, which is part it won't happen, I think they're going to end up part losing into Georgia at the thing. Either that or they're going to overlook Oklahoma, and Oklahoma's going to beat them. So
all I'm saying, you said you wanted to come over our house and play in the SEC. Okay, now we're about to let you come over and play with the other kids in the SEC. Now I want to see how tough you thought you were and you think you are in your introduction to the SEC. This is not going to be an easy ride for Texas. It's going to be some thumpings. It's going to be some finger point. It's going to be some furniture moving. This is not going to be like when ZOU came in the SEC. No. This is going to be an initiation for sure. I'm looking forward.
So if you look on that issue there, I got Texas winning this game. I know you probably have Texas winning this game, right?
I have Texas winning what game?
Against University of Louisiana Monroe.
Oh yeah, Texas winning, yeah.
All right, my friend. Let's talk about the next game we got coming up here. Michigan State at Boston College, 8 p.m. on ACC Network from Alumni Stadium in Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts, outside of Boston. Big Ten versus ACC matchup. You know the quarterback from Boston College. Does he give Michigan State some fit today?
Yes, night game on the hill. That speaks volumes for the Boston College faithful right there in Waltham, Massachusetts. But yeah, I think this is a very winnable game. I know what Michigan State football program is trying to do. They're trying to become relevant again. No, not yet. Not so fast just yet. I think this is a good opportunity for the Boston College football program. And night games there are always a fit for the incoming opponent, no matter who you are.
Now, if you look at it this way, the two quarterbacks comparison right now, you got Chills from Michigan State, 46 out of 81, 650 yards and 4 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Castellanos for Boston College is 35 and 54, 589 yards and 9 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. But if you look at the running back position, Lynch Adams from Michigan State, 34 carries, 210 yards and 1 touchdown. Towards 26 carries for 153 yards and 1 touchdown. But the receiving core, this is mind-boggling here from Michigan State. They're 3-0 out of their 3 games. Marsh has 11 receptions, 232 yards, and 1 touchdown. So he gets the yards, but not the touchdowns. So that gets him into the red zone. And then, then Chills gives it either passing or rushing in himself. But take away from Boston College, the Alabama transfer in Bonds, who has 10 receptions for 156 yards and 1 touchdown. So what is your opinion on the Alabama transfer, Bonds transferring over to Boston College and O'Brien as the head coach, and now you got Castellanos, who is a good quarterback for Boston College? How does the defense try to take Michigan State's offense away in this ball game?
Well, if I'm a receiver transferring from Bama to Boston College, that means one thing. I need to get on the field. That means I got some talent. I got something to add to this ball game and to this team. And when you get a player like that that can define, that need to find their own space and opportunity, that speaks volumes. To slow down a team's defense is to take time off the clock. Slow the game down. Don't fall into their hand. Don't make them make you speed your game up. If you want to slow the game down, slow the game down. Take the clock down to 5 seconds. Take it down to 5 seconds. You want to piss off a defense, that right there is one way to do it, because they're in such a hurry to play and to move that you get some offsides at right there. That's when you get some illegal hands to the face when you play against a frustrating defense, when you slow the game down.
Yeah, if you look at it too, and on this ball game here, I think that Michigan State has a game plan with their running back, trying to keep Costello's off the field and keep Boston College offense at bay a little bit. I think this is the first time Boston College has really played a team that focused on the run and a little bit of a passing game too. On top of that, with 81 attempts from the quarterback position, but 650 yards. So I mean, he's a little bit better quarterback, but he's thrown 2 more interceptions than Costello. But Costello's thrown more touchdowns than Chills. But if you look at it this way too, how does Boston College defense try to dictate what Marsh can do? Because Marsh has been lighting it up here for Michigan State in the last 3 games.
Right. I mean, so look who they played. I mean, that has a lot to do with it as well. When a quarterback sees not just the team they're playing, but when there's defensive tendencies that you can take advantage of because of your certain attributes, and you know what type of offense you guys are playing, you can say, okay, this is that game I get to work on this, work on that, the back shoulder, the curl route a little bit better, going across that middle. That flag post I'm having a little problem with. You can have games where you can say, okay, if I see this, look, here's that play I need to work on. And when you have that and you can recognize that, that builds the confidence factor for the quarterback or any skill position player when they see a situation like that. And I think Michigan State quarterbacks saw that, okay, here's that learning curve I need to get over because I'm seeing that defensive setup that coach told me about to look forward to or to look out for. When you can recognize that.
Because if you look at the 2 opponents, the opponents for that Boston College has played, they played FSU, they played Duquesne, and then they played Mizzou. They beat Florida State, they trounced Duquesne, and they were in that game, leading that game against Mizzou and they lost 27-21. But if we look at Michigan State too, Michigan State's only played one Power 5 conference. That was Maryland. They won that 27-24. But the first game was against Florida Atlantic, 16-10, and then they just got the offense on track against Prairie View at 40-0 on that game. So they came in the last game, but they have momentum going in this game. They're 3-0. Boston College is 2-1. But if you look at the talent, which you said, Boston College has played 2 Power 5 conference teams, and they have played very well against both of them in all their games. They could easily be 3-0 in this ball game too. So you can't take it away. Chestnut Hill also is a mistake, playing at 8:00 at night. It's going to be, the weather forecast is not going to be too considerably cold right now up north. They got it at, it's going to be 57 degrees. So it's starting to get a little chillier up north. Is in the fall season now, which, Chestnut Hill day is the first day of fall on the 21st of September. So Chestnut Hill, I give the advantage to Boston College. They're playing at home. So who are you leaning towards, Boston College also, or
the Eagles
Michigan
of Boston College? The Eagles of Boston College.
Okay. All right, let's throw a little bit of rapid fire. Baylor at Colorado. Who you got?
I'm going with prime time. Give me Colorado.
On Colorado also on that. Fresno State at New Mexico. Who you got?
Fresno State.
Taking Fresno State. I'm going to take Fresno State too. Purdue at Oregon State. Who you got?
Oregon State. Nobody messes with the Beaver.
I'm going to take Purdue in this one. I say the Boilermakers come in with their bullet-making, working attitude and take care of the Beavers. Portland State at Boise State. Who you got?
Portland State.
Yep, at Boise State.
They had the kissing disease last week. The team did. That game got canceled because they all had that kissing disease.
Yep.
Half the football team. I'm going with Boise State.
I'm going with Boise State also. All right, our last game that we're going to break down here in this game on our college football game show will be the number 13 Kansas State at BYU at 10:30 p.m. on ESPN from LaVell Edwards Stadium in Provo, Utah. How do you see this game shaping up for BYU's first Pac-12 game, Big 12 game of the season?
I'm curious to see this damn tailgate, Utah and BYU. I bet that's a very interesting tailgating. I mean, all kind of questions. I swear. Oh, BYU. Oh, man, I love that football program. It stays the same no matter what. If they win over 7 games, they're happy. If they win 6 games, they're happy. It's a very comfortable program to get minimal success. They're fine with it. But it's something about this team this year. Maybe this could be the game to really flip the script for me when it comes to BYU Cougars football. But at the same time, this could be that game that came at the wrong time for them.
Yeah, true. That's a little bit too. I mean, if you look at the matchup predicted, they got 71.1% for K-State and 29.9% for BYU. But if you look at the two contrasts here, BYU is throwing the ball a little bit more, 94 attempts to 67 attempts from K-State. Redslev Flat is their quarterback for BYU, 57 out of 94, 841 yards and 7 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. But Johnson is thrown 43 out of 67, 490 yards, 6 touchdowns, 1 interception. He doesn't throw too many interceptions towards touchdown ratio. But Giddings has been done a good job for K-State, which has 49 carries, 324 yards, and 1 touchdown. Ratzlaff is also the leading rusher for BYU, 24 carries, 113 yards. But Brown is the leading receiver for K-State with 9 receptions, 148 yards. Roberts for BYU, 15 receptions, 263 yards. Both teams comes in 3-0, first conference play right now. With BYU coming out of the Independence now in the Big 12. Does K-State go into BYU and beat them, or does BYU pull the upset over the number 13 ranked team?
I got K-State. You know what? No. Let's have a little fun. Give me BYU. Give me the Mormons. Let's go. Give me an upset today. Give me an upset.
All right, you taking the many wives, people.
Yeah.
One guy can have many wives and Mormon stature, but I'm taking K-State in this one. All righty. Let's go here. Who you got? Some rapid fires right now. This is the last game of the night on Saturday. It's Northern Iowa at Hawaii. Who you got?
808 in the building, baby. 808 is in the
Taking
building.
Hawaii in this one.
Shaka bra. Yeah. Give me Hawaii.
All righty. Let's go to the schedule here. We got to go to week 5 here. We got to get our picks for week 5 here. Army at Temple for Thursday night game. Who you got?
Temple.
You taking Temple?
Yep.
I'm going to take Army. All right. For Friday night games, Virginia Tech at number 8, Miami. Who you got?
Miami.
I got Miami too in that one. And Washington at Rutgers. Who you got?
In Washington.
You taking Washington? I'm going to take Rutgers in this one. So that wraps up that, my friend, all that. We got about 5 minutes before college thing. They're right now predicting Georgia Tech and Louisville game. We already done all that. So what is your take on this weekend's football game?
I think the early games mediocre. I think we're going to get more action mid-afternoon and late night games for sure. But nothing like last night, a game ended at 3 o'clock in the damn morning. I mean, that's why I'm so tired. Like I'm gonna have to take a nap after this Florida game.
Or actually, Hawaii's game is at 11:59.
But see, that's Saturday going into Sunday. Friday going into Saturday, much worse. Much worse.
Now, if you're going to church,
I go to church every day up here. But see, Sundays, you get to sleep in to 9. Saturdays, I can't sleep past 7. So
I look at it this way. It's bad for me because I can't sit up and watch the Hawaii game what I want to because I got to be up at 4:30 in the morning on Sunday morning because I got to go open up the church on Sunday morning. So, and our church this Sunday is Pastor Appreciation Day at Ocean Way, Assembly of God. If you're in the Jacksonville area, off of Sego, off near Main Street, off of 295, you want to come. We do online service also at 9 p.m. is the first service, 11 p.m. 9 a.m. is the first service, 11 a.m. is the second service. We do have Pastor Appreciation. You can join us on live at Ocean Way Church on Facebook, YouTube. That's where you can catch our live feeds at on the thing. So basically, to me, I think you're right. I think the later games are going to be, but the interesting early game will be the Clemson and North Carolina State game. Is a very interesting game there. But my main TV with the volume will be the North Carolina Tar Heel game against James Madison. Rest of my 3 screens, I'll have Clemson on one screen. I'll have whatever next good games on the next screen and another one. And then I got my iPad. I can put stuff on too. So I have like 4 or 5 different ways to watch my sports today. So.
I feel you. I'm just going to load up all the TVs with 4 games. My tablet. I'll probably use that to do social media. And my laptop, I use that to just tweet. And then my phone for feedback.
Yep. So there you go. Can Dre make some impact on the 13 game lead I have right now? He made one impact on the Thursday and Friday night game, made one game catch up on that one. He has 13 more games to catch up on me. Will this be the time Dre catch up and pass me? Usually this is the time frame. The 4th through the 6th week, Dre will have the lead in the last 3 years, and then I come back and win at the end. So can Dre make the catch up now? So do you think you can make the catch up on your picks to my picks and trim this lead down right now?
Yes, I do.
You're confident?
Yep.
So But don't take our picks now. I want to make that reiteration. Do not take our picks and try to win money off of it and come back and try to sue us for it. We don't do it that way. You take our picks, that's on your risk. Period. Disclaimer. All right, 11:59. We're gonna get ready to go, catch up, get y'all ready. This has been Ray and Dre on the All Sports All Plays college breakdown on the All Sports All Plays. See you next Saturday, same time, same bat channel, and Dre will be here. It might be a longer introduction for Dre. We don't know, but I make it up in my head when I see him come on. So, talk to you later, Dre. Have a good one.
All right, have a good week. Good luck.
Yep, you too. You too, man.
All right.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.